my friend?
Not too bad.
You know you can't be here, right?
You
had
know,
this conversation before you're going to lose that argument because I gave you the CR on it.
an officer actually already stopped me today,
Okay.
and we already had a conversation.
So you know you can't be here then.
Actually, no, he was concerned about any sort of permission that I didn't have from the property owners.
So here's the way that works, and I can bring it up. I can bring up the case status if you want. This is privately owned but publicly accessed.
No,
So
I
all of the
understand
same stuff that happens in the city and the munis statutes apply to this right here.
This is a public-private
Negative.
entity.
Negative.
Which
need to
you
move
just
on.
said a public-private entity.
It is, but you cannot. But you. Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. I'm all about helping the guy out, man.
Sorry.
But you can't be here. Thanks, buddy. Oh, you got something else? Yeah, hey, that a baby.
Sorry, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before, bro.
Well,
And
actually,
you
we
can't
never really,
panhandle here,
we
man.
never finished that conversation, sir.
I gave you the CR on it for you to look it up. Did you get a
Okay.
chance to look it up?
6262 only applies to private.
No,
Or, sorry,
6235. Panhandle. You can't do it in the city. In the city limits, period.
I can 100% guarantee you that I am not violating any laws
Let me see
whatsoever
the sign.
being on this
Let
property.
me see the sign.
I mean, it's freedom of speech, so it doesn't matter.
No, I'm just going to point out what it is on the sign that's the problem. What that's the problem.
You can actually legally put literally anything on a sign. Legally.
It's
Freedom of speech.
not necessarily.
And the definition of solicitation is in terms of the actual federal statutes. And
Since our
ACLU.
last conversation, I've done immense research on this because I told you that night. I want to make sure I do the right thing by you.
So what is the difference when somebody doesn't ask?
I'm not going to argue anymore with you. You need to move on.
I'd like to take it then, sir.
No.
I need to issue this in court. I need to discuss this in court.
Because that's not the ticket I'm going to write you.
If
I'm going to
I'm
write you the
violating-
interference ticket.
Look, I'm cooperating with you.
You're
and
great.
And the whole problem that I have is that I need to challenge this legally. If there's something that's wrong
It's
here.
been challenged several times, my friend.
No. Each ticket gets its own due process of challenging it. So I'm not interfering with you. I'm just saying,
I just can't stand people who think they know more about this
No,
than me, who's been
I'm
doing this
not.
longer than you've been alive.
I'm not claiming that. I'm saying that if you plan on moving me along, then doing with that
I'm not going
without
to do it
any
with the
sort
ticket
of
because it's not going
tickets,
to do you any good. It's going to cost you $145.
it's going to lose my opportunity to challenge it in court and appeal it.
There are 15 appeals that have lost every single time, the most recent of which was in June.
And
If
so
you
this
do
is
the
why you
research
don't
you say
give
you're
me
gonna
the
do.
chance to appeal it.
If you say you're going to do what you say you're going to do, research what I'm saying.
Look,
I'm
sir,
trying to help you out here, brother. I'm
you
trying
said it
to.
was 6235.
Trying to help you out, my friend.
Can we go through with it? Because I was having a lot of trouble finding this
Time
before.
for you to do that, though, sir. So I need you to move on, my friend. It's
Like
not
I
that big of a
said,
deal.
I'll go over here to the public property.
All right, look, I'm trying not to hurt your feelings here.
Look.
People are creeping. You are creeping people out.
I'm not
You
violating
need
any
to
laws.
move. You need to move.
Sir, I've already had an officer come tell me that I don't need. Look,
Are you collecting signatures for any kind of political situation?
sir,
What that officer
the
explained to you was for
ACLU.
that.
No. That okay. What the officer there explained to me is standard trespassing law on public-private lands, where you can literally do anything in terms of what's lawful, like skateboarding on private property, things like that. And they can issue you a formal warning if they choose to refuse service to you. And that formal warning is if you come back and say shop, that's one thing. But if you come back and do skateboarding again, then it's considered a trespassing charge. But it's always a formal warning first. He told me that I needed to have permission, and I corrected him, and he understood that a private property that's public, open to the public, has to have a formal warning for me to be issued first in order for me to be issued a trespassing ticket if I come back and repeat the behavior.
So that's where you're incorrect.
So what section am I in violation of?
For some reason.
First off,
so
before
first
anything
off,
else, are we on private or public land?
You are on private property that is publicly accessed.
Okay.
So what that means is
Okay.
the folks that work here
Okay.
can say to you, we don't want you here anymore.
Okay.
Now, if for some reason you are here for a political reason, they can't do that to you. And that's why we're so aware of all this stuff. That's part of why I was asking, what does your sign say? But,
Oh, it's political free speech.
You,
I 100% guarantee you,
if your
the
panhandling is not
ACLU
political,
literally ruled
your
the First
panhandling is
Amendment.
not political. I've had this conversation with you. You said you were going to research it. You said you would honor it when you research it.
I did, and I actually went online and I found out extremely opposite information about how all panhandling is protected free speech, and that the very difference between soliciting and freedom of speech is solicitation requires contacting the person, and there are several statutes out there. Fort Collins has them where once you contact them, after they say no, then you can get
You're not in Fort Collins. You're in Arvada.
But like I said, sir, private property. Okay, so let me just ask this then: 6235 was the statute. It's been a very long time. I'm just being very honest with you. It's 62. It's municipal code. It's Arvada's, and it's 6235.
Out here, bro.
Yeah.
What, do you just like to argue? Is that what it is?
The last time we talked, I have it on audio tape. It was 6262 that you told me. So this is different.
I could be right. You might be right. I had to go back and research. I told you I had to go back and research.
No, I understand. Okay, so 6235.
Maybe you could move on while you research this.
Like I said,
That's all I need. Don't stand in the road, because then you're in stupid traffic.
$62.35 is abandonment of a motor vehicle, sir. Am I being detained?
No.
Okay, am I free to go?
Yeah, if you want. Would you? I just want you to go, so you're not hassling the folks that live here.
$62.35, abandonment of a motor vehicle. That's not the statute.
No, in Arvada. Are you looking under Arvada?
Arvada, Colorado, Muni Code. 6235, abandonment of a motor vehicle.
All right, stand by. You're absolutely good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, and that's actually the ticket that I need to have written so that I can challenge in court.
Here, my friend, I don't want you to have to be liable for a $145 ticket. All we have to, so listen, I know you think you know a lot about this.
This is a ticket on private property that's issued for public property.
You gotta listen more than you talk sometimes, buddy, because you don't listen to anybody.
May I request your supervisor?
I am the supervisor.
May I request the sergeant, please?
I am a sergeant.
May I request your manager?
I am the manager on the street.
Is there someone that you report to? Is there someone that you report to?
What do you need?
I need to speak to the person that you report to.
What do you need from me today? What do you want?
I would like for you to either issue me a 6262 ticket so I can go about my way, because I don't like to be moved along without due process.
Okay.
And I'm willing to lose the ticket. I just need proof that I was given the opportunity to challenge it and so forth. You know, I'll give you my ID and everything. I would very much like to.
What should I call you? I don't need a last name. I don't need a birthday. What is David? Can I call you David for right now?
Wait a second. So
'Cause I'm
you
trying to
don't
have a
know who my aunt.
conversation with you.
So do you have reasonable suspicion to
No.
get my ID?
No, I'm not asking for an
Do you have probable cause for my
Tell me
ID?
what you want me to call you in this conversation.
Wait a second. Do you have probable cause to get my ID?
No, I don't want your ID. I'm asking what do you want me to call you in this conversation. You can make anything up.
Wait a second. You just said you didn't have probable cause or reasonable suspicion to get my ID. So how do you have the authority to move me along?
I'm trying to help you out here, my friend.
I know, and I'm trying to help you out.
Okay. I'm just going to call you sir. How about that?
Yes, sir,
Does
absolutely.
that work
Yeah,
for you?
yeah.
Because I don't want to offend. Because the last time I called you sir, you got angry.
Oh, well, I don't remember
Do
that.
you
I
remember it was that
apologize.
night? It was about 2,200, and I said sir, and you got angry, and so I'm trying to be respectful.
Oh, it was probably not about the sir. I can tell you that now.
Okay, I wasn't sure what it was.
I just don't like, personally.
So sir,
Sorry,
look at-
anyway, go ahead.
let me just. I love the Constitution, and I love the fact that you're fighting for it. I've been shot for the Constitution, as a matter of fact, twice in the chest for the Constitution, and I love that you're doing this. Okay, I want to make sure that you understand that. From our last conversation, I understand that you're a homeless person and that you don't have a place to stay. Am I correct? You don't have to answer that. That's okay. Not a problem. I don't want to put you in a position where you suddenly have this ticket. Okay? People, so let's
want
find a
that
compromise.
ticket.
I'm not going to do that to you. Let's compromise here.
Oh my gosh.
Let's compromise. How can you do what you need to do right here?
I will leave right now if you issue me a 6262 ticket.
So how can I convince you to do what you need to do right now without making people feel uncomfortable?
If you're trying to move me along without a ticket, that's in violation of my 14th Amendment due process, and I deserve the opportunity to fight a ticket if I'm going to be the subject of something that is required for me to move along for, right? So I actually thought this one through.
Sure.
I've been in this position before,
Right.
and there's other panhandling statutes that I've been ticketed, and I've gone to court over.
Yeah.
And I
remember that from our last conversation.
yeah, and so I'm kindly asking, because I'm very well prepared for this type of thing, if you either A, want to go over this statute with me,
Yeah, let's chat.
or B, write me a ticket if you feel as though I'm still in violation.
No, actually, you're up on the sidewalk now, and you don't have to sign out.
Well, when I was there, did you have probable cause to
Yes.
issue me a 6262?
Yes.
6262C, for the purposes of this section, the traveled portion of the street or highway shall mean that portion of the road normally used by moving motor vehicle traffic. Give me a second here.
They don't qualify whether it's on publicly accessed private property.
I actually already won a trial over that. So, like I said, I'm here. All I want to do is open up the subdivision viewer for Arvada, because I had it on tap, to show that the right-of-way for this street starts at about, the end of, it's this, sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to be about this line right here.
It's Friday night,
And so,
I'm trying to keep
like
my
I said,
officers safe.
if a
And so just tell me what you
6262...
need from me right now. Just tell me what you
Okay.
need. I'm not going to write you a ticket because I don't want you to have this $145 ticket.
Okay,
I don't want you to have to go to court. I
okay.
want you to just work with me here and say, all right, cool.
So
that
is-
guy's a pretty cool guy to chat with.
So this guy is a travel portion of the road. This is a public road right here. But
It's publicly accessed private property is what I'm...
so what's the difference between this road and this road?
This is private. That's public. This is publicly accessed private property.
Publicly accessed private property. So this isn't even a road. So this isn't even a road.
We can still enforce...
What's the name of this
certain
road?
traffic laws.
What's the name of this road?
So it's part of the Safeway Plaza, or the King Supers Plaza.
So it doesn't have a name.
It's part of the King Supers Plaza.
So it's not a road. It's just looks like an entryway
So
for a
what's
parking
your
lot.
point? I'm kind of growing weary. I've
okay.
got a bunch of
I
people
apologize.
Here. I've got a bunch of other calls.
I know.
What can I do to chat with you about this? I want to help you understand this.
100% know where you're coming from, and
Okay.
this is why I needed a ticket so that we can finish this in court.
I don't want to do that.
But you just saw me violating it,
I have a discretion.
and if
I own the discretion.
okay, so if I were to go back here and do this again to get my 6262 ticket, what would you do?
I'd ask
Could
you
you
to leave again.
You wouldn't write me the ticket again?
I try not to, my
Is
friend.
there any way that I can get this ticket written?
Okay.
without
usually don't
sort
share
of
people
without
on-
obstruction or without
Listen. You talk more than
arresting
you
me.
listen.
Look, if I'm in
trying to
violation
be
of something,
nice.
I'm trying to get my due process out. You say I'm in violation and you're willing to move me on, but now you won't tell me that I have a chance to fight that in court, that I have to be moved along without having a chance to fight that?
It's my discretion, not yours.
But you're requiring me to move along, which is not a discretionary.
I'm asking you to move on.
Oh, well, if you're asking, I do respectfully decline. I mean, I thought you were requiring me to move along. So are you requiring me to move along, or is this just a kind request?
Do you know where 10% of my income goes every year?
Look, I'm just trying to get to the details, the
I'm
brass
asking you a
tacks.
question. You've been asking me questions. I want to ask you a question. Do you know where 10% of my income goes every year?
I'm sure fraud.
No.
Where?
It goes to supporting and helping the homeless folks in Denver. Do you know where 10 hours a week of my time goes?
Probably
It goes to
helping the homeless.
the homeless people in Denver. I've got a moral issue with writing you this ticket. I've got a personal moral issue with that. And so
Then-
I'm trying not to.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying to help you out.
But the thing is that if I'm in violation of something,
You're going to lose that ticket, sir.
I would like that opportunity to.
It's June. It was the last one.
I would love to lose that opportunity. I'm serious. I'm giving you a freebie, and I promise I will
want the
leave.
freebie.
I will
I'm trying
leave.
I'm trying to do the right thing.
But you don't
listen,
understand. I can't leave without due process. Because how am I supposed to fight being able to stay here?
You don't have to.
You're saying that
there's
I'm
no due
supposed to
process
depend.
required right here.
You're saying that I'm supposed to depend on other people's appeals that have lost, so that I shouldn't even try.
That's how the court system works.
No. Every person deserves their right to be ticketed and for their own right to appeal if they're choosing to break that rule. Right? I was choosing to break that rule, and I'm telling you that I would like to continue choosing to break that rule so that if I moved along, I can start my due process, not come back here. I'll wait till the ticket's finished. If so, I can come back. Then if I'm found not guilty, I can come back. If I get found guilty, you get a ticket. And I'm willing to take that risk because I feel like I know my rights. And I
Who
think...
gets the ticket? If you're found not guilty, who gets the ticket? Oh, you mean I get a ticket in my stats?
Well, I mean, whatever. I don't know about that. That's counter suits, whatever.
Yeah, that's
I'm just saying, I don't really mind. I've gotten tickets before, and I enjoy a good challenge. And I really don't. Nothing against you. And in
you've
fact,
been great with me. I got no beef with you.
oh, good. I think we just are coming from two sides of the different tracks.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And
And I just have a challenge with writing those tickets, and I'm sorry, sir.
Well, the thing with that is that
I'm not denying. I'm not keeping you from anything. So you have no discretionary
Okay.
value in
Okay.
decision making.
you say you're good with the Constitution, right?
I have all discretionary
Exactly.
decision making.
So you're good with the Constitution, right? You like the Constitution. You said it. One of the rights is freedom of speech, right?
Yeah, and you're good to go.
One
That's
of-
why I was asking to see the sign, but you don't have to show that to me.
Well, one of the tenets of freedom of speech that I've been studying is there's a case law that came out of Westminster that says political pamphlets, which is free speech.
This is not political because I can't confirm that. You won't let me see it.
But the
If it was political, then I'd gladly say, how about it, brother?
if there's one thing that I think I could clarify most of all is the
Is it political or
ACLU.
not?
The ACLU has ruled that anything you put on a sign, literally anything, is freedom of speech.
You haven't read the whole law. I've read the same thing.
They have made a
You cannot
specific.
say anything that incites a certain type of riot or discourse within.
Oh,
within.
yeah, like yelling fire and so forth. But any sort of speech like this, as long as it's non-threatening, I could be saying that I'm asking, but I'm not actually asking because I'm not knocking.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll tell you what my sign says. It says, out of luck, need a buck.
Okay.
And I can tell you from the ACLU standpoint, from the lawsuits I've seen them win recently, is that, there's a difference between solicitation, contacting, soliciting, and then just simply freedom of speech.
And I'll tell you, if I'd seen you knocking on a window and doing what so there's this dude that stands down 121 and, Wadsworth and I-70, right where you get off I-70 onto Wadsworth. And he's an angry man and just kind of threatens people who don't give him money. I would maybe walk down the path, but when I showed up, you had your eyes down, you weren't looking at him, you were holding your sign. I thought that was rather respectful.
That's right, but I don't ask. I don't do anything.
You were respectful.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do the right thing here. Here's a guy who's just down on his luck. He needs a buck. By the way, your dinner's getting cold, so I feel
Oh yeah, no worries. No.
I'm gonna leave you alone here in just a
Well,
minute, and you can make whatever decision you want. You're going to keep getting hassled by the cops, unfortunately.
well, look, I've actually been wanting this. I've been wanting for an opportunity to case law Arvada with its panhandling charges. So, with all due respect, I think it would be very, very good if you wrote me that ticket.
No.
Well, then you're going to have to write me in order to move me along, because I can't just move along without a ticket. It's really hard for me to do process.
Here's the thing. The ticket that we're going to, if we issue it, it's not going to be a panhandling ticket.
So I'm not allowed to just get a 6262 like you saw me?
No.
You
I'm
won't?
asking you to leave. I'm trying to do the right thing.
So what else would you charge me with?
Interference.
Interference.
Look it up.
So I'm not allowed. Oh, no, I know that. But I'm just saying I'm not allowed to get a regular ticket. And as sort of a retaliation, you are going to give me a second ticket.
No.
Because I can't get the first ticket all by itself.
I can sit on the stand and I can say, I don't want to issue that ticket. I have some issues with that ticket.
But
especially with the way he was doing it.
But you made me move along for a 6262 violation.
You can choose to do whatever you want. I'm telling you, you can't be here. You need to move on.
Well,
okay?
What I don't like is that you're telling me that if I go back here and do this for the first time, second time, that I will be getting an interference ticket for interfering.
Here's what you need to hear. This is what I'm realizing you need to hear. You are correct. You are absolutely right, and I'm wrong. You know exactly what you're talking about, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. So this is what you need to. This is what you need to hear, and that's okay. You can feel free to do whatever you want here, and you're going to keep getting hassled by the police, unfortunately, because people are going to keep calling. Okay, so you're right, and I'm wrong. I wish you all the luck. I honestly do. I want you to have a good life, and I want you to have a successful life and live the life you want. And I hope that the work that you're doing with regards to these things works out and pans out for you. I really do, sir. I wish you all the luck in the world. Okay? Do you have any other questions for me? How can I help?
If I stand there,
we're gonna keep coming back and having conversations.
Are you going to give me the ticket that I deserve?
I will not.
You will not.
Because of your intention right now.
So in this case, then.
So I'm not arguing with you. You're right.
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Yep.
You are correct.
Okay, then in that case, you are right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I agree with you.
Yep.
You are correct. And
so
you have every right in the world to continue arguing with me.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna because I agree with you.
Then in this case, I'm considering this a move along in violation of me being able to get my ticket that way.
Feel free to do whatever you want.
You just told me to move along.
I asked you if you would.
And I told you that I respectfully decline.
Okay.
And so I would very much like my 6262 ticket now.
You respectfully decline. Based on your constitutional
You just
rights.
told me that you will ticket me with an interference ticket for violating a panhandling statute.
I can.
How am I interfering, though?
Sir, you're right. I'm wrong.
Where's? Can you tell me the interference statute?
Nope, I don't know it off the top of my head.
Is it a municipal or is it
I was wrong on the other one. So
is it a municipal or is it a state?
It's going to be a muni.
Municipal.
But you do whatever you want. You are right. I'm wrong.
No. You don't understand.
Good luck.
You are not going to let me get that ticket without retaliating against me and arresting me.
No,
You literally just told me that. Did you not just tell me that?
I said you could get an interference ticket.
You could, or that I would?
Or that maybe I would. I don't know. What are you doing?
I'd like to replay what I've been recording this whole
That's
time.
for free.
Because
absolutely. Look, I'm trying to help you out here.
You will not let me get a regular panhandling ticket to case law it. You would rather arrest me for something else. You would rather let me challenge it the hard way. Really respectful, sir.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You feel free. It's right here. Feel free.
You know that you're going to write me an interference ticket.
I don't know. It depends on your attitude. You're getting angry now.
Can I ask for your supervisor?
I'm the supervisor.
May I ask for the person you report to?
You want a ticket? I'm not going to give you a ticket.
Oh my gosh. I have an officer that's not telling me his supervisor. I need a supervisor to this scene right now.
I'm the supervisor.
I need your reporting agent to the supervisor.
Or her here right now.
I'd like to hold you here then if you would like to stay.
No, you have a good luck, sir. You're right. I'm wrong.
Can I get your business card, sir?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sir, why are you so angry?
Because you're trying to move me along without a ticket.
No, I asked if you would.
No, you didn't. You told me to move along. And
No.
now when I asked
Did
if
you
I would go
record
back,
it? Did you record it? Pull it up.
Look.
Let's listen to it. Let's listen to it.
so are you not going to tell me if you're going to give me a ticket or not there? Are you going to give me
I don't know.
just...
It depends on your attitude the next time we contact. I don't know. It depends on your attitude the next time we contact.
If I go there right now and do what I was just doing that you told me to move along for,
Well, I asked if you would. You yourself said, "Are you asking me?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm asking you."
I told you that if I would move along, that you would issue me a ticket.
I said you could be issued a ticket.
You said I would be.
Okay.
I would like to get that ticket.
Tomato, tomatoes. Potato, potato.
So you won't write me the ticket.
No.
Why?
No,
Why
it's
not?
just because look,
Was that because you don't discriminate against homeless people? You want to help them, and that's why you don't want to issue the
I
ticket?
do. I help them every week.
I need help exercising my First Amendment rights, and I need a place to challenge them in where I feel that my
I'm not
rights
gonna
are being
violate your First
infringed.
Amendment rights.
My right just got infringed of First Amendment rights by moving.
You can go ahead and move. You moved on your own accord. I said we've had this conversation before. Told you to sign up and you moved up your own accord.
You
Yes.
were talking to me,
Yeah.
and I made sure that I did not slip into a obstruction or some sort of...
Sir,
You
listen,
told me that
you're
I would
right,
be
I'm wrong.
violated.
You're right. I'm wrong.
You
are
are
correct, and I'm
patronizing me, and it's disrespectful.
I don't know what you want me to say, sir. I don't know what you want me to say. I've explained the law and how it works.
Okay.
We've had those conversations.
How
I've
do
explained
I
that
know-
have discretion in this matter.
How do I know that I won't get an interference ticket for
I'll make sure
peacefully
I come and help
handling?
you out. Because I'm
What,
all
is,
about you.
what does that mean? Help me out.
I work in this sector here. If somebody gets sent here again, I'll come over and I'll have the conversation with you again.
No, I mean right now. If I just start right now, while you visually see me, am I? You're not.
I just told you. If you want to, so here, you know what,
Okay.
Let me start again. Let me explain why I'm here.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just explain why I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. You were standing here. Several of our officers know that you're standing here.
Okay.
Okay. We were aware of it.
Okay.
A gal on a bike drove by, and you said, "Thank you for wearing a helmet." It creeped her out. Her words, not ours. I can, and if you
Oh
want,
yeah,
I'll show you the
I
call.
remember the girls from Walmart
Yeah,
or
I'll show you
McDonald's.
the
yeah.
call. If you want to see what she said, I will show it to you. I gladly
Hey.
show it to you.
You guys are looking for out for suspicious behavior.
And she was really creeped out. You really creeped her out. Okay. So my thought was, I know that. I'm like, I know the guy. We've chatted before. He's a pretty smart guy. He seemed like a pretty honorable guy when I talked to him before. So I thought I'll come and have a conversation with him and just let him know, hey, somebody. And I told you early, somebody was creeped out by your presence here. Did I not? That's why I'm here. I'm not here because I told you I've been shot for this Constitution. Have you? No, answer my question. Have you been shot for this Constitution? No, you have not.
Bureaucratically, yeah.
Huh?
Bureaucratically, yeah.
All right, well, that's actually a good response. I'll give you that. But I don't have your First Amendment rights are something I love. Believe it or not, I love protesting. I love people who protest because it's my work that you guys are using, and it's been good. I love that. I love protests. Okay? Yeah.
Can you
So we're good. So that's the only reason
Well,
I'm here. All you got to do is just not creep people out.
Yeah.
Just don't creep people out. You were fine when I drove up. You were looking down. You were humble. I got no problem with that. You're a guy in need. Okay, if this is where you want to do it for right tonight, great. Because I've got to keep my officers working on other stuff.
So why'd you mention interference?
You asked what the ticket would be. I said you may not get the ticket that you want. You may get an interference ticket.
And what would the elements be of how that would be the ticket instead?
If you impede an officer from doing his or her job, and
Okay.
all we have to do is say that we're here in the capacity. The fact that I've been here before it starts the process for that element, for those elements being met. Okay, that's how that works. I don't know if you'll get an interference ticket or not. I don't want to give you a ticket.
But what would I be interfering with?
So if I'm asking you to leave, feel free to tape this.
Well,
Are you ready? Are you
oh
good?
no, it's always been.
Okay, good. So if I'm asking you to leave, that's my duty. Okay. If I'm asking to leave, that's my duty.
Okay.
And then if somebody has to come back, it could be an interference ticket. Or we could just say, you know what? Look at brother, can you move on for us? That would be great. But I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
So it's now interference in
You asked the
order
question.
to. Yeah. No, I'm getting to it. Yeah. So it's potentially interference if I decide to test out when someone tells me that I need to move along, and so I can't just get a regular ticket.
Right.
You guys don't want to write that. You would rather write me with it for an interference
Well,
ticket.
we try to do the right thing. We try to write the right ticket.
Okay.
The correct ticket.
Okay.
Is
Perfect.
that a better way?
Yeah. Exactly.
Not the
exactly.
right one, but the correct.
Yeah. Okay. So what got me so worked up there and so concerned is that I don't want to go to jail, and
I
I
don't
want
want you to
to,
either,
and I
bro.
want to peacefully be able to challenge my laws. And so, let me just ask you this: as long as I don't have warrants out or anything like that,
No, I didn't even check.
whatever. I know
You're
I
safe
don't.
with me.
But say if I do this again, is the interference ticket a municipal code that I can?
Apparently, I don't know them as well. I thought I had it down in my head, but I don't obviously.
Okay,
So I don't know what the interference code is, but you can look it up. It's probably in that 62 code.
Is it something that you would arrest me over?
No, it'd be a ticket.
Okay, that's what I'm going for. I just want a ticket so I can get out of here. I'll be honest. It's so much easier that way to fight it
I'm
in
not going
court.
to give you a ticket, brother. I'm just.
Well, like I said, I'll just do it, but I want to know that I'm not just going to get arrested.
So here's what I'll advise you of if you want some advice here. You can't make comments to people that are riding by. If you do that, you're going to get arrested for harassment or.
Oh, I guarantee you that any sort of comments, if they try and call harassment, that's not very enough probable cause. I'm nice helmet. That's not harassment.
You can't-
I
so
mean, freedom of
state-
speech.
well-
If they tell me to stop and I continue, that's another thing. But just randomly
in the
say-
city, if you offer unwanted communication, so you could charge me for that. No, I'm just messing with you, brother.
It's gotta be
if it's
repeated
unwanted
or-
communication, then it's harassment in the city.
Yeah, but I don't know it's unwanted until after someone tells me
Well,
to
she
stop.
called. She called
Oh,
and
yeah.
said, "Look, man, he creeped me out."
Well, now that I know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
obviously won't say anything to her.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, don't say
But,
anything to anybody.
Well, freedom of speech, and I like striking up conversations. So
Freedom of speech doesn't extend to just having conversation with anybody.
Oh,
if they
yeah,
tell
you
you to
could-
forget it. I don't want to have a conversation with you. Don't do it.
well, then you go away. That's
Yeah.
harassment. But me not even starting the conversation in the first place, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Someone's walking by, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Absolutely. That's what I do sometimes.
Yeah, that's all I
And
do.
I can do that in uniform.
Oh yeah.
I have all
Before
my
you start
constitutional
detaining
rights.
people. And
I
stuff.
have all my constitutional rights in place right this second too.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you, real quick.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, by the way. This is
No,
getting
it's
quick.
okay. Look, I understand you get angry, and I understand your goal, and I actually respect people like you. I do. I think it's great. I just don't want to be very honest with you, I just don't want to put you in that bind, in that situation.
Well, see, that's exactly why half the time I'm out here is
Yeah.
because I've been moved along on what ended up being purely public land by private entities who didn't know their maps or jurisdictions. And so I love taking the hard way, because I know my rights, and I respectfully disagree with the 6262 here, and that's why I would like to challenge it in court. And so if you won't let me,
It's not that I'm not letting you. You can feel
Well-
free to challenge it.
if you don't write me that ticket because you don't want to due process that, then I guess it'll just be an interference. But
I don't know if it'll be an interference or not.
okay, well, if it is, I know it's a weird way to say it, and I know you can purely lie to me, but
No, I wouldn't lie because I wouldn't.
but would you be willing to give me an interference ticket without arresting me?
No. Yeah, well, we're probably not going to arrest you unless you punch one of us. Then you can do it.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is that I've been in positions before where people jumped the gun, and I've been lynched by officers that later the charge got dropped.
Here in Arvada?
And
in
Westminster and Broomfield and Fort Collins. So in general,
I don't want to be
usually
that guy. I want
someone,
to do the right thing.
yeah, usually somebody when they tell me, if I'm going to write you a ticket, I'm going to make sure you go to jail.
I don't actually see it that way.
And I have a lot of work to do. I'll be honest, and I'm not trying to pick any fights or anything.
Well, you got angry
But-
though. You got pretty pissed off just a few minutes ago.
Well, honestly, it's because it started off a lot like feeling like you were moving me along. You didn't want to write that ticket, and then all of a sudden, when
Because I respect you, brother. We've had good conversations.
But that's the thing, is that are you not allowed to respect that I want that ticket for challenging
Yeah,
purposes?
but so here's what you need to understand.
Challenging purposes.
I have it's not your discretion. And part of what set me off was you think that you have the right to tell me to give you the ticket.
Well,
And-
if I
and
keep
yet-
violating it and keep moving me along.
discretionary, from a discretionary standpoint, it's my discretion to exercise, not yours.
But if I keep doing it, you would have to do something.
No, I wouldn't have to.
Well, you clearly asked me to leave.
So
Tried to move me along.
No,
and
that's
so,
not what I said. I said, look, man, we've had this conversation before. You know how this works.
Exactly, and we never finished that conversation last time.
Yeah, because your brother was coming to get you, remember?
Yeah, and I looked up 6262, and
Yeah,
I
sorry
can't
about
see
that.
where
I
the
don't know why I
median
did
is.
that.
I mean, so the 3 ones.
You can't see where this is. Yeah. Well, I understand.
Well, no, I looked
This-
this up on the
yeah.
map. This is definitely
Yeah,
dead on.
yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
private. So the only statutes in panhandling is that I am on a median. If it causes me to step out into the public roadway, which if cars are past this line, I don't.
Yeah. As long as you don't get hit, that's a good thing.
Well, the whole thing is 3. It would have to be located such that cars can't pull around and park, and so cars can pull around right here and park. So the only contention I have is with this being considered a public road, and my brother had the exact same situation happen to him on North Glens Marketplace Road, but
Right.
not a road.
Right.
It's the private property
Sure.
mall there,
Oh, yeah.
and
Wait, that one up. Yeah, I think I know what
yeah,
you're talking
25,
about.
I-25,
Yeah.
104th.
Right.
So he won that trial because it wasn't a public road.
Good for you. Good
No,
for
that was him.
actually.
Yeah. Well, it was a waste of time. It was a waste of everybody's time and money.
Yeah.
You know, and so when I look at something like this and I'm told that it's a road, I would very much somebody needs to challenge that, because if that's what you're thinking, that's not correct.
You know, here's something else I'm going to throw to you. And you seem like a really smart dude, so I'm just having this conversation. But right now, it's just me gathering information and understanding. So I want you to understand too. When you said that your sign is a political side of things, so hear me out. If that's your argument, that sign is political in nature, that protects you from a lot of things that I would be doing. You understand that?
Yeah.
And so this is me showing respect to you. I wouldn't normally throw that out on the table. I just want you to understand, if you perceive that sign to be a political statement, if that's what you perceive that to be, then I have to be really careful about that. And I want you to understand that's part of why I'm a little leery to exercise my discretion and issue that ticket for you. Because if that is if this is a political statement, first off, I want you to protest. I want you to hold signs up and say our constitutional rights are more important than police powers, blah 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 blah, whatever it is you say.
Yeah.
But I also want you to understand that if that is your take, that is a political statement, I respect that, and you have a right to have that opinion. And if that is how your political statement works, have at it. And so that's a lot why I'm leery to issue the ticket, just to be honest with you.
So, okay, so if it's political free speech, it's not qualified under the solicitation statute.
You're well informed, so you understand that's a very tricky road to walk. It's like a tightrope to walk, right? You understand that, yeah? Because if this is truly a political statement on your part, then I have to be really careful with that. If what it's doing is yielding donations and monies and ultimately it looks like panhandling, then it may be panhandling, but it also may be a political statement, because maybe you're gathering money just to speak out and say, hey, look, man, this is an issue. Homelessness in this population in Denver is an issue. I don't know. And when you said that to me, and again, this is me having a conversation with you. I'm really truly done with my police intervention. Okay, I'm just having a conversation with you because I'm appreciating what you're saying. You know, I'm feeling what you're saying. I'm getting what you're saying. I hear you. And so I just want you to understand that if that is truly your nature, if that's what it is, have at it.
Is it in violation of anything?
It could be.
And if it were to be, it would be under the solicitation ordinance.
Yes. Or like I said, it could be an interference ticket. It could be, one of those. But at the same time, if it's a political statement, you may be able to get away with this.
Well, keep in mind, political affiliations, political statements, or whatever, actually doesn't have anything to do with the statute of 6262. If you're receiving monies for any reason, it's illegal.
True. However, you can you can actually stand and take donations for Hillary's campaign or for Trump's campaign or for the green team. You can solicit donations right here.
And here. And
Well,
so, or
on this, on this private property, private property,
but on this road right here, or not road.
You could.
And
you could stand there and hold your signs up and ask for political donations.
okay, but I'm not allowed to ask for personal donations.
I know. See, exactly. That is exactly.
Wait,
what I'm talking
hold on a
about.
second.
No, you're right.
But there's no laws against anybody coming on public-private land and skateboarding.
Yes, they can't be skateboarding. They
No,
can't
but the thing is,
okay.
word for word here, there's no actual laws on the books that state you can't skateboard on private property, right? Just that alone, right?
Well, yeah.
Just that.
Say skateboard, you're right.
Okay. The only laws that prohibit skateboarding on private property, as far as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you do it, and only if they catch you doing it while you're on their property and they don't want it. Where they give you a formal warning, and that formal warning has to be something that's not just a sign that says no skateboarding. It has to be personal.
They don't technically have to give you a warning. They can actually sign a complaint, a ticket on that day.
Wait. So you would
First
be banned first time?
You could be.
But
They could actually sign a no trespass. They could actually sign a trespass ticket on the very first time they caught you.
Okay, that actually, I hate to say, you might need to double check that, because I'm already in a situation of that in a different jurisdiction, and you actually have to get that formal warning first
Well, so here in Arvada,
order for you to know that it's trespassing the next time around if you do it again. Otherwise, it kind of leads into what happened with us, which it was a hate crime, and we were told we were profiled first. Looked like homeless people in this outside kind of forested area up at Fort Collins, and so we were told no camping just because they saw us.
Yeah.
But when they actually caught us the first time camping, when we were camping, we got banned without a warning, and the formal warning is what they gave us that morning when they caught us. So it was the agent that goes around and tends to the land. He said, hey, tomorrow, if I see you guys here again, it'll be considered trespassing. You can come back and do whatever you want. And so, of course, then the officer shows up, and the officer puts together a different piece, and then the guy starts lying and attempting to influence false documentation. And what do you know? They moved the goalposts of when I was officially warned with that first formal warning as when they just saw us that one day. But we weren't camping that one day. They just saw us. And so the formal warning process is like, basically, it's a hate crime if you ban them on the first chance because you don't want me to come back as a regular person anymore. So if I'm banned right off the bat with a skateboarder, you're saying that I can't come back as a non-skateboarder the second time around?
So let me just...
It's kind of a hate crime towards skateboarders or anybody you decide to pick off.
So skateboarders are not considered under the hate crime statute. You have to be listed...
Well, you bigoted, you
have to be listed under the federal statute that suggests...
How do things get added to there, though?
Through case law.
Through case law.
Right,
Exactly.
good point.
So that could be a hate crime case law.
Conversation. I agree with you. Well, so let me just, here in Arvada, so we can actually ticket someone for trespassing right from the get-go. However, we actually have a no trespass notice that the police officers, we try to push that out there because I think that's just the right thing to do.
Wait. So somebody called. So if I was if I was in Walmart right now, or the King Soopers right now, and they called up and said, "Hey, we want this guy banned."
Well, it wouldn't be quite so easy in King Soopers, but if you were in, I was going to use a church, but churches are really kind of a poor.
It's a private.
Yeah, it's, Well, you're in a school. You're on school property.
Okay.
You're on school property. You're camping up next to the building. The brick is warm. It keeps you warm at night. I don't know. You're camping up next to the building. If we got a call, we could go and we can step right over here on this. If you want to move.
Oh no, we're fine.
Here.
Yeah, sidewalk. No, I kind of like being out in the public right away.
Yeah, whatever works.
Not private
I want to make
property.
sure you understood. If you want to step over here on this property, you have the right to be there. Right now, we can have this conversation over here. So, but with regards to a school, if R1, so their security calls us and says they've got a guy sleeping along the south wall, we can go and we can issue a trespass notice. Here's a better example. Last night we had kids on the roof of Peck Elementary. We wrote them kids, they were 18, but we wrote them trespass notices because you can't do that. You can't be on the property.
Okay, so the first time you caught them, you basically caught them doing something illegal.
Yeah.
And then you
They were
decided,
trespassing, yeah.
and so you decided at that point that they have no business of ever being there ever again in the future.
Right, because they're 18. They didn't live anywhere near there.
Okay.
They didn't. There was no reason for them to be on the roof. We suspect that they were trying to break into the school. That's what we suspect, but we couldn't prove that. So we do the most right thing that we can.
So I've actually been trying to follow this for a while. What is the reasoning behind banning them outright versus just simply getting a ticket?
Well, so
You know.
mean with the 6-month ban thing, with
Or-
the trespass notice?
Yeah, or is that indefinitely, or is
No,
it?
it's 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, it's only 6 months.
Oh, that's a new thing.
Yeah. Well, I've
You
been
know.
here for 11 years, and that's what it's always been like that here. I was a police officer elsewhere where somebody could be banned for life from property, and they'd have to go to court to get it up.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what I'm dealing with this up in Fort Collins. Is
Oh.
they banned me indefinitely.
Really?
And it's like, yeah. In one sentence, the officer wrote, they refused to listen after they were told to leave.
Sure.
And like I said, we weren't told to leave that time. We were just stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and we were told to leave, but we were given a day to leave when we actually were caught. So,
Here's right, I'm cool for it. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But,
I'm
but
listening,
yeah.
They're yelling at me.
well, look,
So, any other questions? Because honestly, I want to be respectful. I want to do
Yeah.
the right thing here, and truthfully, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do the right thing. If it truly is a political statement you're trying to make, have at it. I don't mind that. I just want to make sure I'm respecting where you're coming from.
okay.
If you had said to me, for the future, if you want that ticket, if you had said to me right from the get-go, I'm panhandling and this is what I want to do and I just need money. It's nothing more than need money. It would have been a lot easier for me to write that. But the first thing you said when I asked, hey, can I see your sign? It's my political right. And it's like, oh, crap. And again, this is just you and me chatting, buddy. I'm not.
Yeah. But still, though, I still can't get past the idea that I'm not stepping out of the public roadway, and so what am I in violation of for the statute?
You can't solicit money. You just looked it up. You can't solicit money.
No. It said when the conditions are met. Yeah,
I
here.
misunderstood your question.
Yeah, so this is kind of, just to rehash this one concept,
No,
because
that's fine.
for some reason, it's kind of a sticky one.
Yeah.
And it seems to be what you and I have a connection with. So let's just read over it once for all.
Yeah, go for it.
Section 6262, sales and solicitation near or on streets and highways prohibited. It shall be unlawful for any person to solicit employment, business, contributions, or sales of any kind, or collect monies for the same, regardless of solicitation, from the occupant of any vehicle traveling upon any street or highway within the city when such solicitation or collection, 1, causes the person performing the activity to enter onto the travel portion of the street or highway, or 2, involves a person performing activity to be located upon any median area which separates traffic lanes for vehicle traffic in opposite directions, or
Okay, brother, come on, you're good, man. We're friends. We know each other from way
3, the person performing the activity is located such that the vehicles cannot move into a legal parking area to safely conduct the transaction.
Okay.
And then B, it says it shall be unlawful for any person to solicit or attempt to solicit employment, business, contributions of any kind from the occupant of any vehicle on any highway included in the interstate system, so coming out exit off I-25, including any entrance to or exit from such highway. And C, for purposes of this section, the traveled portion of the street or highway shall mean that portion of the road normally used by moving motor vehicle traffic. And so it moves on to the next one, 6263.
So that's the key right there. Normally used for moving.
So the keywords I get are from any vehicle traveling upon any street or highway. And then later it says the traveled portion of the street or highway shall include that portion of the road normally used by moving motor vehicle traffic. So this is a road because it's a public right of way. At least I'm building the definitions.
You're good.
It's got signs. It has a label.
Yep.
It's also got a public right of way and so forth. And so things like marketplace, they don't show up as roads on the map.
Well, this is an entrance.
And this doesn't show up on a road either.
This is an entrance to a roadway.
Now remember, the entrance only matters if it's, 1, causes the person performing the activity to enter onto the travel portion of the roadway. If the right of way were to go like all the way over here, and most cars you had to step out into the public road,
so-
that would be where it applies near. But like I said, we already won this trial in Marketplace, where it was the exact same situation, and he was on a median. They thought the median was a median, but there's no median, there's no road.
So let me give you. I'm going to
And
give you a
so,
little perspective.
like I said,
here.
is this a road that I am
So
in
let me give you a
violation
little
of?
perspective. Just a little perspective, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Are you, I think we're getting along pretty well
Yeah.
here.
Okay. So you're trying to find road, I guess, or something like that.
What I'm going to
Okay.
tell you is, you can read through that and you can have a perspective on what that means. Okay, you believe you know.
Well,
what that
roads
means.
and I mean,
But a judge has his or her own perspective of what that means.
Yep.
And I know what my judge's perspective of that means.
so your judge would say that this is a roadway.
Yes.
And that's why I need to challenge it.
Okay. I'm not going to write you the ticket.
Like I said, if you don't write me the ticket, it's kind of hard for me to know if I'm exercising my rights or not.
It's
Yeah,
okay. we're friends.
yeah.
We've chatted a couple times.
In a
He's
nutshell,
okay. He wants me to issue him a ticket, but and I'll explain it.
I mean, that's fair, right? You caught him in the act.
Yeah, but here's what I want to say is he's saying that it's a political sign.
Well, that was saying what if. I mean, that was.
No, you said it was a political statement.
I
And
said
so-
there's no difference between political statements and freedom of speech on signs.
Okay, we've had such a long
Yeah,
conversation.
that's what that's what I
you
would
may
be
right.
saying.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah,
it to
yeah.
be it was your political statement. And if he's making a political statement, look at brother, I'm all about him having his right to make a political statement, and I will protect him to do that. And I have protected him. People like you, sir, to do that. So
But it's still-
I don't know. Yeah, it is. a
Well, isn't it
violation.
still illegal for political speech to step out into the travel
No.
portion of roadway?
Yes.
Panhandling, soliciting, collecting monies, regardless of the type?
No, I told you before. They can when they have the signature, they have people walking around here getting signatures. They can say, "Can I count on you for a donate?" They can say that.
But they can't stand there and do it.
They can walk throughout this whole thing as long as they're not getting hit by a car, which would just be their safety. And then it wouldn't be a charge; it would be an M1. You know, we would take them on a hold to make sure that they're okay.
So I can't. So, but you never answered the question right there. So they're allowed to, as a political form of speech, stand right there and accept monies.
I just said they can stand here. They can stand up on the sidewalk. They can.
Okay.
They can't. Well, so actually, they can't go behind the building because there are no no trespassing signs back there.
Exactly.
But everywhere that the public's allowed to go, they can go.
Okay,
and you
so-
can go if it's a public statement, which I'm sorry, a political statement, which is what you said it was.
Okay.
I perceive. what you
Yeah.
said it was.
Then right there is where the courts have collided, and like I said, it doesn't matter. Let's just go through them one a month. It doesn't matter whether it's political speech or not, with regards to the 6262, because it says collecting monies.
So.
And then
I'm
collect.
sorry,
And remember, you said that I can't political speech step onto this roadway, collect money.
I don't want you to get hit. That's the big thing.
Well, if it's you said it was a violation to collect monies for any reason by stepping onto the roadway,
If you're
right?
soliciting, no, what I'm saying.
Well, but you're
So
collecting
listen, I'm
monies
listening to what you're saying,
for.
but you're not listening to what
So
I'm
you're
saying.
allowed to collect monies for political reasons, stepping onto the roadway.
You can solicit donations. Okay.
Sales of any kind,
You're
or
not
collect
gonna-
monies
So
for the
listen,
same.
Listen to what I'm saying, though, okay? You're talking about the city of Arvada's perspective, okay? The city of Arvada, they have rules and laws in place. So here's an excellent example, okay? They have a no smoking law in place. You can't smoke within 10 feet of a door.
Oh yeah.
Places.
Yeah, Fort Collins. Yeah.
Right. Now, we have been directed not to write those tickets.
Yeah, it's like a learning stage,
But
warnings.
not to write those tickets. During political season, which is what this is, we are directed, if there is a political comment, if it is a suggestion that it's a political nature, we're going to protect you from hurting yourself. So we're going to protect you from getting hit by a car. We're going to protect you from getting beat up. We're going to make sure that you're safe. We're going to make sure that you're not, creating a stampede in the building, like we talked about, fire or something like
Question.
that. Yes.
Did anyone call this in?
Yeah, so that's what I was explaining to him. He said something to a gal on a bike as she rode by, and it freaked her out. Yeah, it just really creeped her out.
I was just like, yeah, nice helmet. Or thanks for wearing your
well,
helmet.
she
Yeah.
was real. I know.
Oh, you have got to be.
She was the
kidding
one
me.
But
from
she was-
Walmart
she was
or from
creeped out by
McDonald's or
it.
whatever.
That's the only reason I'm here talking
Hey.
to this gentleman. She
You
was
know.
creeped out by it. But again, so you exercise your rights. She exercised her rights.
But then again, that's not really a
That's-
right
that
because
seems more of
it's.
a hate crime to just be spooked out by someone without.
Or
an
at
actual
least,
statute.
hold on a second. That's not necessarily suspicious enough to be violating any law.
It's reasonable suspicion, and you know what you spouted the definition really well.
Well, okay, but
It's one thing if he's like yelling or saying, "Oh, fuck you up," or "Hey, catcalling," which is technically sexual harassment. If he says wear a helmet, that's freedom of speech.
Or that doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Where's
Even.
your A from?
It's suspicious coming from a person standing on the road that everyone assumes is homeless. It's kind
So
of loaded
again, we go to
statement there.
perspective, though. You guys think that what you said was not sexual in nature. She, and I'm not saying she did,
sexual for that.
but she may have perceived it to be that. May have perceived it to be that.
Well, that's not necessarily chargeable though, because
Doesn't matter whether it's chargeable. She's saying that she was creeped out by you.
well,
To be honest,
Creeped
we've
out
actually
is one
ran
thing.
into problems where people have
Yeah.
actually falsified 911 calls against us because we are homeless.
Well, and so I don't.
And
And so I got to
that's
tell
why
you,
it seems very wrong if the dispatch says that all he said was a helmet, and then that's all
Yeah.
that matters to get out here.
but he said that. He said that.
well, yeah, but even then, that's not constituting suspicious enough to ID me over. What would be the
And
statute?
have I ID'd you yet?
Yeah, but
Have I?
no, but you did say there was reasonable suspicion.
I said there's reasonable suspicion to investigate that.
Oh, okay.
And so here's what.
Okay.
You got to listen to what I'm saying, and I'm not.
Well,
trying
what
to
would be
be
the statute
so
for that one,
You
then?
guys are talking from your perspective. Your perspective. Okay. You're not talking from her perspective.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
she has a right to have, just like you guys have. Which I'm trying. I hope I'm respect. I think I'm respecting. I mean, I'm trying to. So she has a right to have the perspective that she has, and if her perspective is correct, then there is reasonable suspicion for me to have a conversation. Now, the second I saw you from our previous conversations, I know that's not what you meant by it. I know you have no issue like that. So I made contact with you because, quite frankly, I enjoy our conversations. You make me think, which is good.
So,
Yeah.
but what would be the statute that I would have that would give you articulable reasonable suspicion that a crime was being
It
committed?
could have
Or
been harassment. It could have been. It could have been a number of things.
well, but that's the thing is that you'd have to articulate what beforehand. So what is it that you're
I don't
trying?
have to articulate that before.
Well, what are you trying
I
to
have to have
suspel?
a belief that this person is the person that committed this crime. That's all I need. A crime is afoot. That's all I've got to be able to articulate. That a crime is afoot,
Okay.
and that you are the person that committed that potential crime. That's all I've got to articulate.
Okay.
And you know that I'm correct about that. So
Well,
you have nothing to fight. So
There's no
I've got-
articulation,
I've got-
though.
I have got a
Articulating that
person
crime
calling
has
in.
been
No,
committed is not
You
articulation.
interrupt more than you listen. I'm trying to
Sorry.
tell you. You asked me a question. I'm trying to answer.
Okay.
So your perspective is not important. But the second I saw who it was, and I chatted with you, I realized, oh, this dude is not. It's not harassment. This is not harassment. That's what my job is to assess whether it is or is not. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And so our conversation. And so I've enjoyed our conversation.
You have to. Don't you have to have articulable enough of not a specific crime?
I just told you what the standard is.
But like the.
I've got to be able to articulate that we believe a crime is afoot, and that you are the potential person.
may have
Well, that's the thing, though.
Yes.
and made it seem like
Exactly.
it was harassment
Exactly.
by her crying on the phone call.
Exactly.
And so he
He's
needs
dead
to
on.
show up and
But the whole
potentially-
point, though, is
But second I
that's
saw
a
you, though,
charge.
I know.
But detaining me later,
Good dude, man.
detaining me later for a call that you got yesterday.
Say it again.
Okay, so that was yesterday that she
No,
called.
it was. Well, we've been chatting for. 35
Well, she was.
minutes.
It was yesterday that she said the whole helmet thing.
Wait,
No.
that's the same lady?
No, yeah.
I'll give you a time.
I didn't
By
say
the way,
no.
if that- you guys wanna come
I
see us,
did not mention anything to anybody riding a bike helmet today. I've been taping this the whole time. It was yesterday that I made
can show
sure.
you
Oh
this.
my God!
Come
Are
on,
you
come here, I'll
fucking
show you.
kidding me,
Did she
Will?
call in later?
These people.
Don't
are
worry about it, don't
fucking
worry about it.
Richards, man.
Don't worry about it. Here's the thing: is that happened yesterday, and so
I'll show you.
if she called it in and said it today, then I think you might need to investigate a false report into authorities.
Also, this may be the same lady that
So
she.
No,
Sorry.
she's just the McDonald's lady.
So
wearing
she
a helmet
called
that told her
in
you had
at
to be your
19
job.
Oh,
93.
her.
See, 1920. That's when it came in, and you see, I just called code 4. Can you
And
guys-
that
you
was
can step in closer.
no, I can
trust
see
you
it.
guys.
So
So
1923.
this is, you can see how we do this. 2036, I called code 4 on the radio. You guys were right there for that. This is when we got the call, 1923. Panhandle
that's-
by the docks, white male giant. It says holding
White
sign
male
that says
giant.
Last time RP rode past him on her bike, he said thank you for wearing a helmet, and it made her feel very uncomfortable.
Last time she said that. So,
But this is what she said.
oh my
This is what
gosh.
she said.
Oh
So
no,
she
you
kinda hung
guys.
out?
No,
man.
you guys.
So she hung you guys out on this?
I need to be more specific
Yeah, feel free. I'm listening.
because a crime has just been committed.
Well, so they have 180 days to make a complaint.
No. This is the crime.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah,
I
sorry,
interrupted.
yeah. I'm different path. Okay.
Oh, it's okay, brother. I
So
like
the
the
crime here
involvement.
is that the suspicious behavior is simply a guy standing there, where you took a call about her saying that yesterday I happened to get a comment from her, because it says right there, last time.
But
and
when's last time?
But that's the thing
When
is, he never said anything to anyone today. So, how
So,
can that
well,
happen?
you don't know that it's yesterday that was last
Yeah, I don't
time.
know that it's yesterday.
But the whole point is, I guess I have a really hard time. Okay, sure, you can articulate that there might be some crime, but if you can't actually articulate what that crime is that you would confirm or dispel. Okay, so you show up. And
So what crime it would-
what would it be? It would be, is that constituting harassment? If I say,
It could.
yeah, I tell this to people.
Really
could.
saying someone needs to have a helmet is
That's
considered
harassment?
It depends on the perception of the person that's making the report.
Well, no,
So
I mean,
that's
it
why
has to
we're
be
here. We're the
repetitive,
middle.
it has to be
She
insulting,
never
it has to
said
be-
anything to him, so
Okay.
there's no actual indication that we were making offense to her. So that's weird that she all of a sudden
Well,
was
she's-
secretly taking offense
She
without.
can, so in this country, you can call in anonymously to the police and say,
Well,
hey, somebody
sure.
did this and said this to me, and it freaked me out. And this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
But are you in handcuffs for harassment?
But, like,
No.
you have to
Oh,
feel the call,
No,
though.
I mean, none of that. I'm not doing any of that. The second I saw you, I recognized, oh, it's just a dude out.
But even then, saying something like that he said a helmet, something about a helmet, it being creepy has nothing. That's not an element of harassment. Creepiness.
Harassment here in the city is unwanted contact, and there's no number identified.
Is it again municipal code that would be?
Yes, and apparently I don't have it memorized, so I'm letting
It's okay. I'm pretty quick here.
Yeah.
Also,
But-
what are the
sorry.
chances that this lady would call the cops on some other person saying that?
I don't know.
An
That's the
old
question.
lady, another person. To be honest, I hate to say this, but we have been racketeered against and previously sued
Mm-hmm.
by. So far, you're being way cool, police officer. But
That's cool.
honestly,
Did you get that on the tape?
yeah, we have quandaries with people who have irrational fears about homeless and transient. And the problem is every time when a cop comes out to address this, they tell us, we diffuse it, there's nothing, but then they tell us to move along. And I assume that's what happened here.
Actually,
It's like,
no. So the second, so I made contact with him,
Okay.
and he put his sign away before I was just shutting the door. I'll tell you, I mean, I don't have anything to hide here. I shut the door. I was walking up to him. He put his sign away. I said, "What does your sign say?" He said, "It's my political statement." The second he said a political statement in the political time of the year, you know, the political nature of our situation right now, I'm being a very different person. You know, it's not.
Obviously, it's extremely unethical to remove someone for freedom of speech.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And not to mention, we've talked about it. I love the Constitution. I fought for I fight every night for the Constitution. And I want to tell you something else too. Is, you know, I do agree. The homeless tend to be overlooked. They tend to be ignored. They tend to not be given the same humanity that everybody else in this damn. Sorry, I don't mean to swear in front of you, sir.
Okay.
In this world deserves. And I feel that so strongly, and I was telling him, I do a lot of, I volunteer 10 hours a week with the homeless shelter, with my church through a variety of homeless things. And then I donate 10% of my yearly paycheck to my church that goes to
Are you
specialized
Mormon?
funds. No, I'm not.
Okay, when you say 10% to a church, I just
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
but Bible tithing, you know, that's
Yeah.
tithing. So anyway, I really feel for the homeless, and so he wanted me to give him a ticket. I don't want him to have that ticket, but more
Oh, we're
because it's
completely
expensive.
okay with going
I know,
through this
I know.
system.
But more
And
importantly,
Well, actually-
it's a political.
looking it up.
Well, what really bothers me is that I
You
I
wanted
want
the ticket,
and I
and I said
deserve
no.
it, and it's actually extremely violative of my 14th Amendment
Well,
due
so
process
no-
rights
so
to
we
not
disagree
get it.
about that.
Well, like I
We've
said,
actually
moving
read
along or a
articles.
ticket, one or the other, you get your way, which is getting me off that street temporarily. And if you get to move me along without a ticket, like I said, how am I supposed to know if that was an illegal move along? I need to challenge it.
Yeah, but
like I said,
but
he
the
said-
discretion belongs to me, not to you.
Well, however, but the discretion
Yes,
is
it does.
still, if you're going to move me along, then if it's not legal and you don't actually have the probable cause later to be found out determined, is that not kidnapping? Moving
no,
me along.
I never moved you along. That gentleman gave you something to eat.
Are you still in the argument of moving along? Or just,
I had initially
makes a good
listened to
argument.
the audio, and it was extremely move along. And then when I started asking about if I was going to be
You listen to the
ticketed if
audio
I
when
go
I was
back.
talking to you?
He was going to issue me an interference ticket.
You listened to the audio while I was sitting here with you, because no, you didn't.
Huh?
You did
You
not
said
listen
that-
to the audio while we were sitting
Oh, no,
here.
not the audio. No. I'm just saying.
Because I wanted to hear it too. I'm like, God,
Yeah, I haven't had a
you've been
chance
talking
yet.
for so long, I don't remember what the
No,
hell.
I'm just
How long
saying.
have you guys been here before? I should
Well,
Like
let's
20
see.
minutes. No. Here's the thing: is that I have been unable to get that ticket and been concerned that if I go back to that, I will be getting
I tried to
a
leave 10
different
minutes
ticket.
later, not even
They
10,
told me they
but he
wouldn't
wanted to have a
issue me.
conversation.
Well, I wanted to be ticketed.
I know,
You know,
and
you won't let me do that, and so
It's
that
not that you
violates
get
my.
that-
It's
it's
like
not
the
your
weirdest
right.
thing in the world that he's like
I know.
wanting to get a
I
ticket.
know.
Well, if
you're
you,
not getting it.
I know.
But the
Isn't that
whole
weird?
thing though is that if I'm not to be given a ticket, then the alternative you said was that I'm in violation of the 6262. I have to be moved along anyways, right?
No, we've talked about this.
We-
You said
but
that
you
this
just
is a political statement.
But we just said
You
that
have a
6262
right-
doesn't
you
have
a
an
right,
exemption
man.
for political.
You have a right to free speech. If that is your political statement, you have a right to free
So
speech.
where in Arvada can you panhandle?
You really can't. There's this you can't solicit.
Didn't
Anyway.
ACLU already sue Denver multiple times over this issue?
The last one was in
The other
June,
ones,
which they lost.
No, well these are.
Did you say
auxiliary-
Denver?
Denver area,
Oh.
sorry. All
Well,
regions.
Arvada, somebody sued us recently and they lost it. It was decided in June, early June, maybe late May, but somewhere in that vicinity.
Well, all I know is that at one point in time in this conversation, we came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter if it's political speech or not.
It's a fine line. This is true.
No, it doesn't. At least from what I thought, it doesn't matter if you're collecting monies, meaning you're collecting monies for whatever reason.
If it's a
If you're, are
political-
you telling me
can
that you can collect monies if it's political?
you can solicit donations? You can ask, can I count on your donation?
Okay, let's be
Oh,
specific
interesting.
here.
I've never heard that.
Let's be specific here.
When you're collecting signatures, can we count on your donation? We'll
I
call
thought
you
it
at
was
this
legal
number.
to technically go up to any person in this country and ask once for help with money or any resources.
I'd never heard the one
And then
time
once
yet.
they tell you to stop, then it becomes harassment, aggressive, soliciting, or aggressive panhandling.
Yeah.
And so that
I'd
kinda
never
goes
heard of
into-
the whole one-time thing. Here in Nevada, you can't solicit money if it's from a panhandling standpoint.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, no. See, that's. I'll get to that. Believe me, dude. That's
Hey, look. So
not-
here's the one.
Okay,
thing
no. Like I
let
said,
me
I
just, let
couldn't
me just
finish
say this
the
before. I just
concept.
want to. I promise I'll let you go.
Okay.
I just want to say I'm not holding you guys up. If I've told you before, if you want to stand there with your sign right now, you can feel free to do that. You're taking time that you're taking your own time right now. I'm listening.
Well-
but if you want to do that, you have at it with your political sign.
Okay, so
I just want you heard me say that. You heard me say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, so the final question I have
Sure.
is on a public roadway, say right out there. That's obviously no private property or anything like that. I'm not on a median, but I'm stepping out into the public roadway. Am I not allowed to step out into the public roadway to accept monies for political purposes?
Can you walk anywhere in public?
Well, so
Just
you know,
that question.
So here's.
Am
let
I
me-
not allowed to get it for political
It's not
purposes?
quite a. It's not as easy as a yes or no question. Okay. This is,
But it
this
says,
is what I'm going to tell you.
But it says collect monies for the same. So that doesn't mean
if you're
I mean,
walking
that means
around. So you
anything,
guys have seen
any
these.
exception of money, right?
Because I'm going to answer your question as best I can. You've seen these signature gatherers.
Oh yeah.
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 If they're walking around gathering signatures, and in the process of doing that, they say, "Can we count on your support? Can we count on your donation? Can I have a phone number to call you?" Or something like that. We're not going to hassle them on that. Technically, is that in violation of the law? Yeah. But are we going to hassle them on that? No, we're not. We're not going to hassle you guys either. We're not going to hassle you guys.
Headlights, buddy. Sorry, I didn't
That's all
give you a
right,
chance.
bro.
To...
You're getting it
Okay,
done.
but I can't step out of the roadway to collect monies. Period.
Technically not, but is an officer gonna?
Okay. So there.
I mean, by that,
right
right
there. It's just on its face illegal to collect monies by stepping out of the roadway to get them. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
With what the no, it depends on what you're doing it for.
Okay, it says it shall be unlawful for
I
any
know,
person
but
to
this is
solicit
also political season.
employment, business,
we've seen it.
contributions, or sales of any kind,
Right.
which includes political,
Okay, I've answered this several
or
times.
collect monies for the
I've
same.
used even different examples.
Well, though, here's what I'm trying to get
I've
at.
even used-
Here's what I'm trying to get at.
Right,
Is
yeah.
that on its face, collecting monies, even for political purposes, is illegal because it says of any kind. So I just leave that open. And if that's illegal, but you just said I could collect monies politically standing here.
If that is a political sign, I am not going to tell you. That
But
you're-
you
that can't have
but
your
you
free
said
speech.
earlier that this was a road, part of the 6262.
This is an entry to a road. This is actually a publicly accessed private road.
But it's not a road.
Publicly accessed private road.
Is it the actual
Roadway.
public
But
jurisdiction?
is it
this
a
and that?
road under
We
the
can actually write certain
definition?
tickets here.
But like I said,
Traffic tickets, certain traffic tickets.
okay, but like I said, 6262 is a violation if you step out into the roadway. Are you saying that this is considered that definition of a public roadway?
It could be.
We should
It-
know
it
that
either
we
is
checked
or
the
it isn't.
Plats and the leases of this before.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We checked the plats and the leases beforehand because we've run into this issue where cops strangely actually
Okay.
didn't know their jurisdiction, and there's a concrete
idiot.
line dictating that this is actually
Yeah,
public
and so that
property.
right, and so that's what I was saying though. It has to do with the perception of our judge.
Well,
You know,
the
what
judge
does our
is going
judge
to.
see?
I actually won a trial, and a judge actually struck it down because a North Bend police officer gave me a soliciting ticket on private property and gave me the same spiel that I'm walking out to a roadway. I don't need to walk out on the roadway, and nor did I do that. And he wrote me a public ticket on private land, and I took it to court, and I won it.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Okay, so where can you show me that this is a road? This is Arvada's, your own subdivision plat viewer, and it shows, if you zoom in, it'll probably label that road. Let's just, oh, there it is. So Yarrow Street.
How much longer?
Like
Yeah,
a
what do you guys
couple
got?
seconds.
Time?
Couple
I mean,
seconds.
I'm
All I got-
glad to entertain you guys tonight,
Well,
but I
here's-
really
Well, here's what I'm trying to get at is all the roads are labeled here.
Yep.
These are public right-of-ways. When you click on that, it's going to tell you that it is nothing. It's
it's a publicly accessed private
yeah.
roadway.
So this one though is not. There is nothing there. Where's the road? Where's the line? What do you call it?
It's the King Super. What is this plaza called? The King Super's shopping plaza.
Okay, so is that the plaza right there?
The whole thing. I think it includes McDonald's.
Yep.
Too. Does it show that it includes McDonald's?
Okay. Yep. It does. Yep. Over there.
Yep.
So where's the road that from? Where's the road?
You're
like
right.
Street
sir. You
cleaners,
are absolutely
Mount.
correct. I am absolutely wrong. I don't know what to tell you, sir.
Well, if it's
I mean,
not
I'm
a road,
I'm honestly not trying to be a jerk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is a publicly accessed private roadway. A private. What I'm saying, it's a private. No, I
okay.
can't even say.
So public roads.
It is a publicly accessed private roadway.
Okay, so how do we know that this is a roadway and not this is a roadway? Is this in between these two parking lots where people park? Is that not a roadway that they're traveling through right
So
here?
this would be considered a roadway too, but this is private. People can't go on. People can't travel through here. So what I'm saying is this entire
No.
complex is publicly accessed.
But roadway for the purposes of the definition of being able to get a 6262. So can I get a 6262 40 feet into that roadway, into this roadway? Can I get a 6262 on that roadway in front of King Supers?
Out on the roadway.
No. I mean the one that's right in front of the entrance there,
Okay, so
before
on-
the parking cars.
I mean, you
actual.
may, but it has to do. There's a lot of variables.
But like I said, it's not a roadway
I guess
because
what
it's
he's
not
trying
a
to get at
public
is
road.
Assault can happen on any private or public land or college institutions. And
Okay.
stuff. When it comes to panhandling tickets, from what we've seen, is that strictly only a public-only violation.
I got
The
you.
definition
I got
of
you.
roads includes roads, streets, highways, and as far as the judge is concerned, that's why I wanted that ticket, is because this doesn't look, it doesn't, I want to find out from a
So
judge's
I'm
perspective.
gonna-
I don't trust you that you think it's
Also,
not a road.
coach, brother, I'm here for you, man.
But that's the respectful challenge, is that if you think it's a road, would you be willing to write me a ticket for it?
No,
Why not?
because you have a sign that you said is a political statement.
But it doesn't matter if it's collecting monies.
Yeah, but you know what? In the
just said,
political
though-
season, I'm telling you, I'm going to let you have a little bit extra leeway on your First Amendment rights.
So we're not going to case law to have it removed on the books for political reasons. We're just going to let it go.
I'm
We're just gonna
choosing to
not-
exercise my discretion.
Oh boy, how are we going to get this law changed if we can't even get a ticket?
Well, here's a different perspective.
Think about that. The only way to get a law changed is to appeal it. You won't give me a ticket so that I can appeal it.
Or even try. I mean,
you-
if you got them, you got them. I don't
Yeah,
mind
exactly.
the ticket, like,
Well,
But
okay,
I don't
I'm just
want
going to finish on
That's
this.
my thing. It's discretionary. I have the privilege. That's my right, not yours.
But if I keep violating it, and if I keep being moved along or asked to, if I were to stay
Thanks
there,
for recognizing that.
if I were to stay there,
People are going to keep having conversation with you.
And if they keep doing that, like I said, you seem to think that I'm in violation of something. And I very much respectfully need my due process of the 14th Amendment of getting that ticket written. Mm-hmm. And so far, we have avoided that completely. We've been talking about interference tickets and political things, and I just want my ticket.
No offense to resources.
No, brother, you're good.
We have legally tried things, and from a different perspective, we're starting to come to the conclusion that municipality police officers are potentially causing homelessness and keeping people homeless.
Oh, tell me.
Because of this. When we're moved along, we don't get our money for the day to get back on our feet. People defame that transients are using it to just wipe their asses with it, when we're literally trying to get it as fast as we can to get on our feet.
Yeah.
And we've literally been to every municipality from Fort Collins to here and got the same spiel and the same runaround.
And the same tickets that we've all won
freedom
now.
of speech, and the whole thing is when people give us money, it gets us off the street.
Dude, you're talking my language right there. That's exactly why I'm having a hard time writing the ticket. I don't think it's fair that I write that ticket. I don't want.
But you say that I meet the elements of the ticket.
I'm a veteran. You know how many? You probably know better than I. There are several veterans that are homeless.
But the interesting thing is, now that you say that, is the moving along and nowhere to do it actually goes to the same result.
I'm looking something up. I want to just let you guys know.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'm listening. I promise.
Yeah. And it still leads to it. Like the writing of the ticket actually helps us, because it helps establish what happened in Fort Collins, that cops can't ticket for panhandling anymore, and that's because 5 people took it to the court with their tickets, and essentially, yes, it does look like giving him the ticket is going to muck him up, but we are pro se pauper attorneys, and it's not really going to muck us up.
It's the only way to
point's
actually.
Well taken. You make an excellent point. Okay, so let me read you where. So this is our directive.
Okay.
Just so you know that I'm not full of crap. This is our directive, and it's not me just making this up here. Okay. Okay. So in the case of larger retail situated in a relatively large shopping center, i.e., King Soopers, the answer will be no. We're not going to move them along. Unless a person who is exercising his or her right to free speech at the entrance of the retailer in a large commercial center is trespassing inside the building, an officer should not assist the retailer in removing a person engaged in peaceful First Amendment activity from the premises. The second you told me that this was hang on. So I'm trying to be honest with you guys. I usually wouldn't read that. This is an internal document, but I want you guys seem pretty smart to me, and I appreciate where you guys are going with this, and I respect where you're going with this. So I wanted you to understand, this is the directive that we have. During political season, we're gonna let you guys exercise your right to free speech. And the second he said, "This is my right to free speech," and I asked to see what it was. It's my right to free speech. I don't have to show you what.
So is it illegal to accept monies? Is that the whole contention? Because it's technically not illegal to receive a gift in this country. And the case that I took to North Glen, the judge was actually telling me, "Tell me how much money you make. What are you doing out there?" Mm-hmm. And I was actually technically seeking refuge in North Glen because Fort Collins, like I said, a bunch of frivolous lawsuits, racketeers.
Yeah.
And from that, I had to go and type out my own little thing and tell her that it's gifts and it's not considered income at all. Mm. And so that's why she wasn't allowed to see how much I got or condemn it as an illegal activity, because it's not illegal to receive gifts anywhere in this country.
I see that you don't want to tell us how much you make, and I respect that.
It's very little, but it's more of the concept of a gift.
So let me ask you this then. Do you make more money here, or do you make more money at I-70 and 121? Wadsworth and I-70?
I don't do highways.
You don't?
No.
Where do you make...
It's always shopping.
Where do you make your most amount of money?
Honestly, it's pretty much the exact same anywhere we go, and it's pretty minimal.
It's pretty average.
Yeah, it's not in the hundreds. We never break 100.
No. Because I was going to point out, if it's to get on your feet and make money, then this is probably not the best place. I mean, honestly, if you're going to see the most amount of traffic, do it right up front there.
We actually avoid that because it's kind of disrespectful doing it right in front of their business.
Man, I like you guys more and more every time you guys say something.
Near the highways are a little bit more dangerous due to the actual statute applying. Because if you cause a fender bender on that highway exit, then it backs up.
Oh, yeah, then it puts you guys in a bad
way. The whole thing is they tried to claim it at the North Glen because I was kind of near I-25 on 104th. But the whole point is, if it's not the actual highway or roadway in the interstate system, that's how I won that, because Marketplace is an actual private road. And they can't say that, so.
I got you. Man, you guys got it. You guys are figuring it out, and I appreciate it.
Well-
I read to you exactly what our directive is right now.
Okay.
And that's just how that goes.
Yep,
And
yep,
I can't debate it, brother.
No. That's the whole point. Is that here's the contention I have. When you read that, it clicked exactly. That is correct. That you are to direct people or to not contact them if they're exercising free speech.
Right.
ACLU was very, very, very specific, and have passed a ton of laws, or not passed, but have struck down a ton of panhandling statutes recently. Panhandling, not knocking windows, that's naturally whatever you do, it's called solicitation. But holding a sign is completely 100% free speech. It doesn't matter what's on your sign, it's content neutral.
The reason why is because it's passive. Again, the knocking on doors, you can technically legally do that, but a lot of jurisdictions don't know. They consider that harassment.
Right.
And that's why we also don't do that. That's why we stand with the cardboard sign, because it's the most passive form
Yeah,
you can do.
and that's fine. So, but you're
Well,
right.
I'm just
If
really concerned
if
that-
you dictate, I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir. I'm sorry.
I interrupted you, sort of. I don't know. I just want to get this thought real quick.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned because when this political atmosphere culture is over, when November,
It'll
come
go
November.
back to the old way. So come on out.
But that's
here, I'll
the
write
thing,
you
though, is that the old way is that panhandling, holding a sign, is still freedom of speech. It's not in violation of the First.
Your point's
It
well made.
is
Even
the
in
First
political
Amendment.
season,
Yeah.
It has nothing to do, and so basically, if you think that it's not free speech, freedom of speech, and you think that it's something else, that's when we need the ticket.
Yeah.
We need the ticket so that we can talk about it in court, because
Also, I
there's
think
no way
what
a judge
he's
can
getting
talk
at,
about this.
What he's afraid of is we've ran into other homeless people and reading ACLU articles of basically cops doing the dirtiest thing possible and not writing tickets as a way to hide a problem in their region. That, look, we don't have any tickets to issue. There's no homeless problem. It's just...
He already said that they had appealed several times and
really?
lost recently.
Yeah.
But the whole point, though, is that I don't know what those cases are. I don't know how they've lost. Maybe it was other technicalities, but
True.
it kind of takes away from my freedom and my right to exercise my appeal rights.
Oh, technically.
Because,
yeah.
like I said,
the right
we
to
already
get a
challenged
ticket.
another ticket of the exact same wording of the exact same statute
But
in
you can't have it
North
both ways. You can't declare. So, I mean, you guys are. I honestly appreciate where you're coming from, but you can't declare to me, "This is my right. This is my free speech." And
No,
then say,
the
"I want the
ACLU
ticket
did
for
that.
it."
No, the
But
ACLU
you declared
did.
right here. So I mean, honestly, you
We're
declared.
only wanting the ticket so that we can case law it so that Arvada never does this again.
The whole point though is me declaring that it's freedom of speech. I could say it's not. It's just holding a sign is regardless.
Yeah,
it
your
is.
point's
There's
well made.
nothing actually in violation. I still have.
Sure, I hear you. I hear you.
So I'm just gonna have to.
What triggered my decision to not issue the ticket for me was, hey, I have free. This is my right to free speech. I'm holding the sign. It's free speech.
But I'm not allowed to
Free
collect
speech.
monies by stepping onto the roadway.
I know.
So if I were to collect monies with a with a political
think I
speech,
know what you're getting
you would
at,
get
Will.
me a ticket.
Is it illegal in Arvada to collect monies?
Under the soliciting statutes, yes. And I agree with where you guys are coming from.
Interesting.
Believe me when I tell you.
Because that seems like a ginormous violation of the Better Business Bureau of Equality, that anyone has the right to go into any town and want to integrate, and if someone's really poor and the most that they could do is freedom of speech, they effectively grant.
Well, my point is, you guys have you have rights that are opposing each other right now. You guys, your right to free speech, you have that right to free speech, and then you're claiming that you also want a right to due process. And so, I'm damned if I do, no matter what I do. I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't.
Well,
by your logic.
But free speech here has
No,
nothing
no,
to
no. I'm
do
damned if
with
I
if
do.
I'm in
Oh,
violation.
Oh, that's what you're saying. You're
speech has
saying
nothing to
not
do.
to write you a ticket for that. You're saying to write you a ticket for whatever you think is illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, according to the statute, collecting monies is illegal regardless of if it's political or not. And so if you guys are making exceptions for political
fire
atmospheres
people, that's
or,
kinda where the
or
heat is.
timing-wise, that's making a judgment call as a judge when that person should be able to get that ticket and challenge to the judge and say,
I hear where you're coming
Freedom of
from.
speech.
But do you? So I
was I in
concede your
violation
point.
or not?
I concede your point. Do you agree with me that I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't? You guys are not presenting me any way out of this. I am truly. I have no right answer here.
Well, are we in violation or not?
No. Agree. You put me in a position where you are. Yes or no? I'm asking you, yes or no. Have you put me in a position where I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't? Yes.
Not
you
necessarily,
have.
no.
Yes, because if I write you a ticket for you, and in the first 30 seconds where you're here, you said, hey, this is my right to free speech, then I'm violating your First Amendment right.
When is it not free speech when someone's holding a sign?
Is it when you collect money?
You declared it was free speech from the get-go.
But it doesn't matter if it's free speech or not to get a ticket,
You declared it,
right?
so you put me in a trick bag right from the get-go.
But free speech doesn't protect you
put
from
me in
stepping
a
out of the
trick bag
roadway.
right from the get-go.
You see what I mean? Free speech doesn't protect me from stepping out of the roadway. I'm still illegal to step out of the roadway.
And collect
Right?
money.
And collect money, exactly. And so you said this was a roadway, and basically it would be illegal for me to step out, and I'm already standing in it.
Yeah.
And so, am I in violation of this statute or not?
You said in the first 15
Remember,
seconds,
freedom of
Yes or
speech.
no? Is it
Remember,
violation?
freedom of speech doesn't have anything to do with it. Am I stepping out of the road
I've
to
already
collect
answered
monies or
that.
not?
Asked and answered 4 and 5 times. You haven't
That I
answered my
was.
question, though. Do you agree that you've put me in a trick bag? You kind of so. Do you
Well,
agree
he
that you
kind of
screwed
came out of
yourself on
nowhere,
this?
so you were just peacefully standing.
Well, no, when I say
Did
freedom
you,
of speech,
you kind of screwed your point here, is what you did.
Well,
you from the get-go declared this was freedom of speech.
no,
So
no,
I will not violate your First Amendment right.
but here's the thing: is that me with
There
my
is no-
freedom
I
of
got your
speech? No,
question.
let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, help me out. Come on,
Let me
brother.
finish.
Come on.
I got to get this thought,
Okay,
guys.
okay.
I have to.
I don't care. What
The
you guys
freedom
decide.
of speech, there is no relevancy to the elements of violating a 6262.
Freedom of speech is the First Amendment. It has everything to do.
Then, if that's the case, then I really need this ticket fast so that I can clean this up so that it makes the exception for freedom of speech. Because right now, I'm in violation of a ticket that is going to keep being used, that is in violation of my First Amendment free speech. It sounds like you should write me that ticket very fast so we can get this fixed.
No.
Because if I'm not in violation, and you know because of my freedom of speech,
You screwed it up.
then how can I fix that on a statutory level with this ticket? Because right now, statutorily,
maybe
I'm
you're
still in
changing the way-
violation.
maybe you're changing your opinion on this. Maybe you're just changing the way that you're thinking right in the middle.
No, I'm
You
saying
told
it doesn't
me in
matter.
the
I'm
first
stepping
30
out of the
seconds
roadway
that was
regardless.
freedom of speech. Go
When
ahead, man,
you're freedom of speeching, then you collect money. Is it no longer freedom of speech? Is that the whole intention with the law?
yeah. When you're freedom of
Because
speech and you do
stand
what?
there, but the whole point is standing there, then accepting money equals.
Well, that'd be a different story. Nobody handed him any money in my presence. He said it was. This is my free speech. I said, "What's your sign say?" He said, "Because I have what it says, but I couldn't see what the sign says when I drove up." So this is my right to free speech. So you put me in a trick bag right from the get go, and you screwed your mission.
But
from
no,
the
no, no,
trick
no,
bag.
no.
If
It's
just
not the
speech
trick
and you
bag.
didn't see
No.
it, then you just let
If-
it go.
okay,
Well,
here's- here's the
so you're
perceived
saying,
trick.
so no. Hear me out. I've been listening.
Okay.
Hear me out though. You say First Amendment rights. I'm not
Okay.
going to violate your First Amendment rights by writing you a ticket. You say 14th Amendment rights, right to due process. I'm not going to violate your First Amendment rights by writing you the ticket. I'm not going to, or I can write you the ticket and violate your First Amendment rights.
But
So I got
you're
a choice
not.
to violate either the 14th Amendment or the First Amendment.
But when you write me the ticket, you're not violating my First Amendment rights. You are going by the statute, which says all it matters is collection of the monies.
But you said at the beginning of our contact
Yep,
that
yep, yep.
it was your right to free speech.
Exactly.
And you do not have to show me the sign. You messed your mission up
No,
in
no.
this one. You screwed it up. It's
When
okay,
I
you
say-
screwed it up.
no,
It's
when
okay,
I say
brother.
it's
You'll
freedom-
get another chance.
When I say it's freedom of speech, that doesn't change whether I violated the statute.
But I didn't see you take any money.
But I am actually
isn't
already
it the
standing
law?
out on the
He
roadway.
wasn't.
I
asked him
actually,
if you'd mind taking off.
hold on,
because
I
somebody creeped
actually
him out, or because he
already-
creeped somebody out.
I was already in violation of that statute because I was already standing out in the roadway, as far as you say. So I was
You're
already in
standing right by the
violation.
bush.
But I was in the road, not on the curb, right? So was I in violation or not?
Hey, look, man.
'Cause
I love these kind of
Well,
debates.
'cause here's the thing.
I'm an 8 on the
Well,
Enneagram,
let's
and
put it
so I
this
love
way.
the debate.
How am I supposed to fix
I'm
that
screwed
this
no matter what I
statute?
do here.
No, you're not screwed. Remember, because it doesn't say anything about
I am.
freedom of speech.
Because I either
in
violate
here.
your First Amendment right or your 14th Amendment right. And so you guys, here's what I want
Then
you
all we
to
have to do is write a judge and just tape this and
Exactly.
send it
Write a
because
judge,
it
write
needs
a
to be
judge,
removed.
Do your thing. You guys
'cause
have
you won't-
skill.
On a different note,
Yeah.
I've had many police officers pass by me and not do anything, and Why is that? Why are you the first one to do?
Well, and so that's a great question. So when we look at it, we actually triage the calls that we have. You know, so and you tell me if I'm wrong, if you guys have a different opinion, is dealing with let's just say you were actually soliciting, is dealing with your solicitation here more important than dealing with the burglary that's happening where the old lady is barricaded in her room and somebody's ransacking her place?
Obviously, burglary.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, and I don't mean to insult. But we triage. So a lot of times that's what's going on, because if you guys have noticed, police have not had a great rap here lately. They've been bringing some of it on themselves. You know, people in the news, we've been making some mistakes. This is true. Agreed. And so what we have had is we've had a vast number of officers leave the profession. They're going elsewhere because they just don't want to deal with. Well, they don't want to deal with this. I enjoy these kind of conversations, but they don't want to deal with this. You know, and so we're short 35 people in Arvada. You know, and so that's a lot. That's
another
25%.
interesting thing is we really like Arvada.
Yeah.
And now with that, technically,
You don't like Arvada now? Come on,
we
man.
have to leave.
Well, I
It's not
can't.
sustainable now.
I can't
We're
stay
gonna be
here
somewhere
anymore.
else, and it's going to turn into the same ticket that we need to case law to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so if I had to sum up in as few words as possible.
Sure.
There is no difference if I were to say that I'm accepting money for panhandling or I'm just freedom of speeching and getting donations, because the statute is the same. And if the statute prohibits me from accepting monies regardless, but the statute infringes upon my First Amendment, then the elements of that crime are met, and that charge, that statute, needs to be fixed bureaucratically. And the only way to do that is to get the ticket, challenge in court, appeal it, and win.
Technically, more cops
absolutely
are going
agree
to
with
waste money.
So how am I supposed to fix that you guys have a directive instead of letting us case law? You tell us that we're not in violation of the statute because of freedom of speech, but the statute itself still violates freedom of speech because it doesn't mention it, right?
So you played a great chess game in here. I'm either going to violate the First Amendment or the 14th Amendment.
Well, look, believe me. No. Believe me, I will.
Well, maybe by
I'm
you
holding
guys.
a sign
Maybe
to
by this guy
accept.
who kind of blew the mission from the get-go.
No, here's the thing. There's no
thing is when
difference
you say
between my
that-
political and me.
No, he
You're the
told me.
only cop that seems to splice this conversation. It's
Seems
so
to what?
strange. Splice it?
Is that good or bad?
Bad, because most cops consider both different between, or basically the same act. I keep hearing in it that panhandling and accepting monies are different. And that's
And freedom of
that's
speech.
weird.
It's all the
big thing
same.
The big thing is, I got out of the car. I said, "Hey, buddy, what's going on? We've talked before. I know you." I asked,
Wait,
what
did you
your-
run into him again?
Yeah, we've
before?
talked a couple
Like
times.
A couple months ago?
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's the one I gave money.
Did you tell me?
I
Yeah,
gave
he
him
was
money.
going. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I emptied my pocket that night. I went hungry, but brother, not as much as you guys have gone hungry. So
Believe me.
I am certainly not playing a Donald Trump, thinking that I'm some kind of a sacrificial lamb here. So, but I gave you everything I had in my pocket. Well, I consider you to be a friend.
Well,
And-
if I
and
were
so I
to
stopped.
Well, if I were to change my story and say that I'm only accepting money for panhandling purposes, the sign itself never changes its status of freedom of speech. Anything that's put on a sign is always freedom of speech, even if you don't call it that. If
You
you're
called it a freedom of speech.
No, it
actually,
is.
by definition. No,
Oh,
it doesn't
no,
matter
yeah,
who
you're right.
defines
You're
it.
right. No,
Yeah,
speech.
so
I get
I'm-
what you're saying.
so
but
I
he,
am-
He identified it right away as, hey, let me make sure.
Well, I'm doing both. I'm
we
violating,
gotta step
freedom of
to
speech.
A 35,000-foot view here, real quick, just so you guys understand. Our policy is to assist our homeless population. We want the homeless population to be successful. Is that the wrong word? To be well cared for. Is that okay? So we want the homeless population to be well cared for. We have policy that is very different from. Well, actually, Denver's got a pretty cool policy, but we have. Are you all right, brother?
I got have my stomach in my chest, so
Oh, sorry.
life
Oh,
problem.
sorry. So anyway, we want to treat the homeless folks as well as we treat anybody else. We try to connect them with resources and so on and so forth.
See, again, that's what I was saying earlier. We've actually tried the resources in our town, and
In here?
we are simply just trying to get to lawyers. So we already maxed it out.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
like I
kinda-
said, this is the solution.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
I guess.
So the other side of that, though, is when those officers were shot and so our brand, the way people look at us, including the homeless folks, is very, very important to the Arvada Police Department. And I will tell you, it's more important to us than any of the other Denver metro area police departments. When those officers were shot in Dallas, we had thousands. I mean, literally thousands of people, citizens, including a couple homeless guys that we chat with a lot right down at the library. Write us in and say, man, I know we've had our differences, but you guys are some of the nicest guys ever. We like that. We want that. This is what police work should be. Getting to know our community, discussing things with them, figuring out how this works best as a community. We want to be part of the community and not some entity that surrounds the community and, you know, bangs the whack-a-moles or whatever when they pop up through the home. We don't want that. We want to be the support system that people need. Okay, and I'll own responsibility for it. I put myself in a trick bag then. I just can't do it. I can't violate your First Amendment right because, yes, you're right. You had a sign, and you identified it as, and I'll agree with you.
There's no difference in signs.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Is it for the safety of him just happen to be near a roadway of cars? Is that the only thing you're concerned about? Is him getting hit by a car? Because it sounds like it's just illegal outright to just ask anyone or solicit or panhandle outright, even if it's completely safe. So
Maybe this is actually where I would okay, this is my version of the contention, is when the political season is over, you, and it sounds like the team here, please, are going to consider regular panhandling as not freedom of speech when that is, and that is exactly what the ACLU had helped the whole state determine, is that all forms of panhandling is protected speech, and that it's just solicitation laws of repetitive, unwanted behavior. Is only solicitation.
or,
statute.
for instance, if you are in a median, then technically it makes you go on the roadway, and that's what that applies to.
Yeah, whatever the
It'll move back to, so to answer your question, it'll move back to a closer definition to that, to closer to that definition right there.
But the definition here is that holding a sign for purposes of money, for purposes of panhandling, to receive money, is not solicitation, and it is still freedom of speech. It's all the same. There's no split.
I hear you.
You know,
I
so
guess what he's saying on
after
a
the
very
political
big,
season,
altruistic level, technically, it is wasting Arvada thousands of dollars in wasted calls now because they would show up to this statute, and therefore that's why we need to case law, because technically
To change
that's what
it.
we found in other places is algorithms where cops were basically wasting taxpayer dollars.
Actually,
so
we
how-
don't get too many of these
So-
calls. As a matter of fact, the
Really?
citizens are pretty, because, I mean, as we were standing here, a guy stopped and gave you dinner. I mean, so if the citizens aren't griping about it, we don't come out to these things, and a lot of times the citizens don't.
Remember,
We're
that was
here
a
because
complaint,
the
though.
gal on the bike.
yeah.
We're here because of the gal on
Oh,
the
hey,
bike.
real quick, I have to go through this.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to. I found the harassment statute for 62, or go back down
Real
here.
quick, I should be
Sure.
warned. A different scenario. I was panning at this mall for a while. I was the only panner in that area.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
then
hang
all
on.
of a
just a
sudden,
sec. Only panner in the area. Cruiser 8, I'm still code 4.
Code 4,
so
indisposed.
basically, there was no problems forever there. And what I'm really scared about is basically the cops told me to move along from the spot that I was doing for months. And probably 100 police officers passed by me, no problem. The security officer mistaked that it was mall property when it wasn't. This is opposite. I'm actually on public land this time. I'm trying to tell him, like, public road. He calls a cop in, and the thing we're fearing of is this potential hate crime that when there's disturbance with the homeless, when it gets diffused and the homeless are not guilty of anything, because the presence is off, they tell me to leave anyways. And so she actually told him to leave. And so if that's not a crime, she was there and she's like explaining it. Oh, well, you can't do this, and it's safety reasons, blah, blah, blah. But it's like that only happened because someone made a complaint. And that's what happened here.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. here.
So normally,
I mean,
it would
I only
be
showed
to-
up because of the complaint.
Yeah, that's
Well, here-
completely fair. Yeah.
Here-
but the whole point is, why move them along if it's all dispelled? You can just go home.
Yeah.
And it's not harassment. It's just like on that meeting, there was nothing wrong with being on security property,
Yeah.
but we're afraid of the stat of them just moving it along.
Okay.
Or in this case, what I'm mostly concerned about is that you guys were sent out here on a call that maybe your dispatchers should have fielded better. The elements of harassment, 6232, or B, it shall be unlawful for any person to commit harassment. A person commits harassment if, with intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person, he or she strikes, shoves, kicks, or otherwise touches a person or subjects him to the physical contact. in a public place, directs obscene language or makes obscene gesture to or at another person, or 3,
Safety comment.
follows a person in or about a public place, or 4, initiates communication with the person, anonymous or otherwise, by telephone, computer network, or computer system in a manner intended to harass or threaten bodily injury or property damage, or makes any comment, request, suggestion, or proposal by telephone, computer. So it's like computers calling.
Or
stuff like
face
that.
to face.
No, it said initiates communication with a person anonymously or otherwise by telephone, computer, or network. Anonymously or otherwise meaning otherwise is identified. Anonymously or identified by telephone, computer network, or so forth, intended to harass. And so that's the first time if you call them, there's no warning. However, the next one makes the telephone call to ring repeatedly. 6, makes repeated communications at inconvenient hours that invade the privacy of another or interfere in useful enjoyment. Or 7, repeatedly insults, taunts, or challenges. So there was no repeated communication. There was nothing that was anything to actually constitute even reasonable suspicion.
I would say some people are at risk or just not educated about law. And so she may have misinterpreted what that was. And the main point is we do this as lawyers to put things in place. If she were to say, hey, don't ever say that to me again, we would never say that again. So she's like paranoidly going down paranoid land multiple times. And, by the way, I've stood out here too, and I think I know her. I've never bothered. He likes the snippy because it's true. No one's wearing helmets.
I like this guy.
What's the point? No one's wearing helmets.
Yeah.
It's a good point. But no problem there, and we've gone through the drive-thru there, ordered from her, no problem there. And it's like we also. It's really gross, but we've seen people take advantage of situations where they just don't like the person. For instance, a 7-Eleven person told us to leave because we were repeat buying, but it's like it's not loitering if we're repeat buying. And he actually falsified the 911 call saying, hey, I told them to leave and they refused to leave. And that's not the case.
They hadn't told me to leave.
And he didn't add it up right, just kind of like how this, he did.
So you hit it dead on with regards to the harassment statute. I think it was B. B is the one where obscene or whatever.
Okay.
So we all know from that 1967 case about the nude photos in New York. I can't even think of the dude's name. He's a popular dude. I can't think of his name, but anyway, the New York, the pictures of the naked men, they found it obscene. Some people, and the judge said no. Obscene is what is perceived by the person looking at it. If you think that's perceived, then don't look at it. If she thinks what you said is perceived, so I don't think.
Well,
Different
when
layers
she
of
said that
harassment,
comment,
a military guy versus an old granny would
True
take
enough.
more offense versus that guy.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is that if it's her that's perceiving it, it's one thing. But when she transfers that information to the dispatch, it's the dispatch's responsibility, so I believe, to transfer it to you correctly, to get the story across. And it looks like the story was that I mentioned something about a helmet.
And that's all they have to do.
But where is that obscene? When you know that's not obscene, so you don't know. So that doesn't fit anywhere in the statute.
It has to do. We are all human beings.
He has the right to
perception.
come here and just temporarily see what's going on, but any more than that, it's technically not harassment, and I don't know why.
Well,
And
well,
after
here's the
5
thing,
minutes,
though.
I tried to
Reasonable
leave,
suspicion.
If you remember correctly, I tried to leave, and you said you wanted a ticket. And so I said, well, I'll stand here and engage with you if you want to chat. I'm all about that.
Well, reasonable suspicion would entail that I'd have to fit one of these categories.
I told you already, there are 2 parts to reasonable suspicion. What are they? I've told you 5 times. Well, 4 times.
it could be.
No, but the whole thing is that it's already been articulated that it wasn't harassment type behavior. It was a comment, and so it doesn't fit any of the statutes to even look at later.
Repeatedly didn't say there was other.
She said it
obscene.
earlier.
She didn't say
But it could have
there
been
was other
obscene.
things.
She may have perceived what you said to be obscene.
But the thing is when you get the call and you know that I'm just talking about a helmet, you've already determined with your own judgment call that it's not obscene. So you sort of technically should
let me
have
ask you
just
something. Do you
moved on to
text?
the next call.
Do you text?
Occasionally, yeah.
Okay.
Rarely.
Do we depend on, for proper communication, do we depend on body language, nonverbal communication through body language? She may have perceived the tone in your voice, your body language to
Yeah, but you
suggest
can
something.
know that. You know how to judge
I can't
them.
know that from this.
when she said helmet, and that was the comment,
Say,
How
hey,
can-
sexy
no,
bitch,
come on now.
or
How
hey,
can I know
fuck
that
you,
from this?
or
Cut me
it's
some
talking
slack.
about a helmet.
You could
I'm
have
gonna
said,
give it to him.
Hey, sexy,
you could have said,
thanks for wearing your
oh,
helmet.
you could have said, hey, baby.
How
you
is
doing,
that-
Man? Thanks for wearing your helmet. Wink, wink, nod, nod. That would be creepy.
It would have been translated by the dispatcher. See, the whole point is dispatcher shouldn't have given you that because the dispatcher should have said, was there anything obscene said?
How does she do that there? She writes it.
She takes the
This is a
call
text,
from the
essentially.
person and she clarifies
This is a
that
text.
nothing fit the statute.
This is a text. I have
No,
all I have to do is
but when
articulate a
she
crime as a
calls,
foot, and that you're the person
but
who-
when she calls the dispatcher, what we're saying is that the dispatcher wasn't supposed to give it to you because there wasn't. The dispatcher
she has
asked.
to. She has to.
No. The whole point
There's
is that.
more lawsuits out there for officers and dispatchers not sending officers to calls.
But
than
the
sending
difference is that when she sends something out, she needs to tell you that the comment is
guess
not
what he's getting
qualification.
at is,
As in,
saying-
you can still come out and ask questions, but she can't come out with reasonable suspicion because your dispatch just dissolved it.
You're wrong.
I guess
You're
what
just- you're just flat out
I
wrong,
guess
though.
what he's saying is there's a guy walking down the street with a brown bottle. Person calls it in. Hey, 911! You got to get this alcohol guy. He's walking around with
This is the
alcohol.
perfect example.
And lady's like, "How do you know it's alcohol?" Well, it's a brown bottle.
It's in a bag. It's in a bag.
Is it root beer potentially? He gets closer and it's root beer. And that's
It
the
happens
whole
a
point.
lot. It happens a
is-
lot. And when we come in, we make contact, and we find that it's not.
No.
Because we
It's
have
not
a right
that.
to make contact.
It's
We
not
have
that
the
contact.
same rights that you have.
No. It's not that
And
contact.
yeah.
He was talking about when they field the call, the dispatcher's asking the person that's making the report, hey, you said that it's alcoholic in nature. The dispatcher's supposed to ask, have
No,
you
not
have you
supposed to.
determined?
She doesn't have
Well,
to.
well, the whole point is that a dispatcher
have to.
is now potentially sending out a call without fielding it first. The guy could have said, yeah, I think it looked like root beer.
Actually, the reason why is because we've run into a ton of problems. I got another story. We've actually ran into a problem where a area near a Safeway in our town was not correctly addressed of its homeless problem, and the 911 people across the street kept calling and saying that they're just hanging out, loitering. It's public property, and there's
Refrigerator, are you trying to get in
actually
touch with me?
no suspicion, and they need to ask, hey, are they drinking? Are they fighting? Nothing. And so,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm
the
sorry.
reason why is we caught this spot literally taking fake 911 calls for like 6 months to a year.
Really?
And so the whole point is the 911 call operator didn't field it and was like, okay, let's send them out, and then the cops go out.
Yeah.
And then they're all homeless, hate crime lynchy, and actually ticket people on public land. And basically what he's trying to get at is the 911 call operator needed to ask her, is there anything else? Because
Is there anything
then
that's
it would put it to the ball in
obscene
her
or-
court, and she'd be like, this, and now she's attempting to influence purging and lying. Or it'd be like, there's nothing else, and then bam,
And
there's nothing
then,
else.
and then the whole point is that once that's fielded correctly, is there anything else? Then you field it correctly here that there doesn't fit enough for reasonable suspicion because she confirmed, the dispatch
I figured out
confirmed
who it was,
that
and
it.
you told me it was.
But hold on,
Away from
yeah,
it, dude.
but
I
just
tried
for
to.
just for future reference, if a
I wanted
dispatcher.
to. I'm hungry. I've been
Yeah,
hungry for 2.5
I know. I'm
hours.
sorry, but the whole point is that if a dispatcher is to be doing their job correctly, they field the call. The person says, "There's nothing else." It was just a comment about a helmet. What I'm trying to prove to the point of is that dispatcher needs to make sure that comment makes it in here, and so that when you approach,
in
you
there.
can only.
It did.
But it wasn't detailed enough because you need to understand
that's
that
what
you're
he did.
only showing up here for a personal, non-custodial,
Was
voluntary
my
call.
demeanor anything other than that?
It
I
was.
told you, bro.
No.
How's it going?
It
What have you guys
was.
been up to
It
lately?
felt like it was a detaining, and that it was. You drove up
You know
real
what? The only
fast.
No. The only
and
reason
you
you're
were
saying that is
very-
because it provides you an opportunity to say that. Because you and I both know, if you're being honest, that is not how that went. I pulled
Well-
up my radio going. I opened the door, my radio to my car going. I opened the door, said, "Hey, brother, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you again." That's what I said.
Well, we'll have to go over that. All I'm trying to say.
No. Hang on. No. You can't just dismiss that and
No,
make things work for you when it
I
works
don't.
for you.
No, I'm rescinding.
No.
I'm rescinding,
Okay.
saying I don't
Okay.
know
All right.
about what happened there. But what I am saying is that you need to understand, potentially for your own benefit, that if you come out here, you're going off of what a dispatcher says, and if the dispatcher claims that there's reasonable suspicion, that, or at least something like that, it's the dispatcher's not the cop, and so yes, they're not going to be the perfect to field calls. But I just want to make sure you understand that that call didn't fit reasonable suspicion to detain me, if that's what you were intending on doing.
Did I ever put my hands on you? Did I ever detain you?
But
you detained me. I feel like I'm being
But
detained
there was
right now in this conversation.
Yeah, there just was a point at which I felt as though that could have been the case, and so I'm dissolving it. But I'm just warning you that that comment didn't fit the statute of reasonable suspicion.
Okay, so let me just. You guys.
That's where you're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
So let me just throw this to you.
That's all.
And then I promise I'll give you guys the last word because it seems like that's important to you guys.
Not really.
You guys seem absolutely brilliant. I mean, honestly, you guys are smart dudes. I can tell. Have you guys gone to school?
No, we have been screwed over too much in our lives, lost too much money.
I got you. Well,
my dad works at HP. I've grown up with computers.
You guys are
Computer
smart. So
repair.
Family's college educated.
well, that's a bang. So, in your family, do you guys work from the premise when you have a disagreement or an argument, the important thing is to see the other person's side of things and be able to argue in a discussion the other person's side of things. Have you guys
We do that. Devil's advocate, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our whole family trained us to be that way because they wouldn't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to demonstrate
Yeah,
that I'm
kinda.
hearing what you guys are saying. Okay. I hear that you need the ticket in order to fight it because it's a shitty statute here in our. Oh, I didn't mean to curse. I'm sorry.
Hey, please be
I
freedom
get
of speech.
that it's a crappy.
We're not really.
Freedom of speech.
Well, so if you're offended, then it's.
Yeah,
I get it's a crappy statute. Okay, I get you guys think it's a crappy statute. I don't have an opinion whether it's crappy or not. I have an opinion on whether I want to impact a homeless person. I feel for you guys, and I don't know. Maybe you guys are veterans, man. Maybe you are maybe you guys are some dudes that I fought with in the. That I was in.
Veterans.
But but you could be. Is my point. I don't know if you are or aren't.
We have a couple cousins that are veterans.
Nice. So, but anyway, I work in my off time to help you guys. So I hear where you guys are coming from. You guys feel the need to fight these types of crappy statutes. I get that. Okay. I want you to hear though that when you identify this as a First Amendment right, and I hear what you guys are saying, everything on a sign is a First Amendment right. I get that. You guys are correct, and I respect that. It's the second that happens, I'm either going to violate the First Amendment or I'm going to violate the 14th Amendment. And I don't want to do any of that. I love the Constitution. I think it should be canonized. I love it that much, okay? And I see you guys do too. The other thing I want to just talk about is this right here. This everything, the
the
his
call.
point on this
Sure,
is
sure,
about her perception.
Yeah.
Only her perception.
Yeah.
The
You just
second
spelled
I
that
got out
pretty
of the
quick.
I'm not really
Yeah.
arguing.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure you guys understood. I hear
Oh,
where
yeah.
you guys are coming from, and I will tell you, I really appreciate you guys talking to me today. I mean, it helps me to understand where you guys are coming from.
Most people will say "fuck you." but
Well,
cops need to
that's
know
not
too,
the way
so-
I do. That's not the way I do business. I'm all about education. I'm all about getting smarter and learning what your point is. And if you make solid points, which you did, you make great points.
Well,
I'm all about listening.
okay. Well, let's finish on this then.
Sure.
Perfect way to. The only point of contention I have
Okay.
is that somewhere in your police force or city hall, city council, so forth and so on, you guys decided that instead of just simply voting in or changing the actual statute to make exceptions where you know it violates people's rights otherwise, you sent out a temporary directive. And so if that temporary directive wasn't there, you guys would know that you're violating our rights, and hence we would get the ticket and so forth. And so I don't like how I see that this directive is sent and that somehow it's possibly differentiating the difference between, which there is none, between politicals and regular free speech. And so I'm concerned that that directive was possibly a cover-up instead of just figuring out, fixing the actual statute.
Completely trying to do the right thing.
But, no, but the whole thing is that the right thing to do is to fix the statute itself instead of just write all this ad hoc to it. The ad hoc looks pretty pathetic because it's voted in, it's not case lawable, it's not testable, and so if it goes away, it didn't change anything about the actual statute, and that statute is basically not getting case lawed because you guys are being
From a
told
bigger
not to.
perspective, the feds are what we see potentially is that they're looking for correct stats like this to basically help homelessness out on a national level.
To find out where everybody
And
is.
so the directive seems like
It's a
Well,
blank.
it's to respect the because we've gone the other way. Just
Well, wouldn't
recently we've
respecting
gone the
it
other
be
way, and
to
we've got people
ticket-
complaining about violation of their First Amendment rights. So.
real quick. When you say political season, is that you're referring to summer?
No, it's the election season. The election season, and
I thought you were just saying because of an influx of.
So we have
in the summertime.
essentially
Is that
we have
why you're not ticketing people? Oh, okay.
no. We essentially have political seasons every 2 years. You know how that goes, where people are
yeah.
running and they got people out with signs, and so
Oh,
we just try. And
okay. Sorry, that's where you're.
Yeah, that's what it
referencing
is.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I don't want to take any more of your time, but you guys are pretty awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You have my card. If you guys have questions, I'm all about chatting with you
Well,
guys.
just be really, I guess, thoughtful, concerned that once that directive goes away, are you guys going to just start writing tickets again?
It'll come back. So come on out. But
Because there was never any change with me, and so it looks like you guys are just making sure you don't infringe on people's First Amendment rights when it's more obvious.
If you have a sign, then you probably won't get a ticket either.
But after the political culture, whatever season is over, I'm still going to be able to get a ticket for my First Amendment rights.
If you have a sign, probably not. Okay, so you
That's
guys
where it
don't
would be.
understand what I'm saying. So the Arvada Police Department, okay, Bruins, 2010. The Arvada Police Department is one of 36 in the United States of America and in all the CONUS parts of this country that requires a bachelor's degree. So you're dealing with people who are fairly well educated. 55% of our officers have master's degrees, and we have 16% of them that are either working towards or have a PhD. So this conversation, you're going to get a lot of conversation.
Yeah,
but
you guys
you're
are
going to
way
get
more.
officers that are not going to fail in this matter. I promise. But you're welcome to come and do it again, and we'll have the same conversation, and we'll walk down the same path.
But I would get a ticket because
You
the
may or may
political
not.
season is over.
Because it's our discretion, not yours.
But nothing ever changed.
I know.
And so, does it kind of? Can you
what
kind of
he's saying
see
on
where
I knew
you're
it was
potentially
coming from.
dancing
No,
around it,
we
where
do.
nothing gets due process, except
I
for
do. You know what?
potentially? I'll have to go to the tape, but
I'm sitting here
moving
laughing,
along
and I don't
here,
mean to
you know.
laugh or trivialize what you're saying. I
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
what
yeah.
you're saying. You're saying that this law needs to be case law. I get it.
Here's some more psychology too. What else he's also saying is we run into interesting psychology of where people don't focus on themselves because they feel like they have to uphold the city or uphold a job or uphold doctors or
Good
something.
point.
And the thing is they tend to take orders without double checking. And I guess the run-in that we've actually identified a pattern around potentially, like you've diffused it more than most cops. Most cops just like guns drawn. And the thing is we don't know where to draw the line and tell people that may be being used in a bigger perspective of being duped and stuff. Because, like I said, we've caught cops believing other cops saying literally completely fraudulent tickets and stuff. When we see that directive after nothing forever, it just seems concerning, even though you even gave them 10, and then you come in here and now you're hassling them, which is not your fault because of the call there. And then all your directives are telling you to do that. And that's why you feel like you're stuck here. So.
Well, and I like talking with you guys. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the conversation. You guys are smart, and I get a lot from it. But I would have been gone 5 minutes later if you had.
well, no. Real quick, did that directive come out this year?
That came out probably a month ago.
That's
Wow. Yeah,
Because
you
we
guys
didn't
have had
go
this
way
long.
before this.
Oh,
yeah.
have you?
And no
Have you
cops
guys
at
ever
all.
gotten a ticket for this?
Nope,
Nope.
never.
That's what I'm telling you, man. We're big time into helping the homeless. We're not.
Well,
trying
the
to
whole
screw you
point,
guys
though,
over.
is that if no one's writing these tickets,
And I
why
get
is
it.
that law
I get
even
it.
on the books?
So again, we come to perspective. You guys see tickets as a great opportunity to fight things. For us, tickets are like the consequence to being, to making a mistake, and we don't. It's not a good thing for you guys.
Well, actually, to be honest,
But it is a good
from a
thing,
criminal
I
law perspective, you should always look at tickets as
As a
oh,
what?
unfortunately, currently the only way to due process medical.
As a what? I didn't
The
catch
only
that.
way currently
Sorry.
to due process tickets are the only way to currently due process medical cases that are criminal in nature, like kleptomania
Gotcha.
and
Sure,
stealing
it's
and so forth.
Punitive, and you don't want to write the ticket, but
Yeah.
technically, ultimately, the ticket is the only rehabilitative process.
It gives you the
that has.
opportunity
To know that
so
you were
know
wrong
There are
and
opposing
fixed.
viewpoints of that. I mean, there are. So our laws here in Colorado are functioning to circumvent people getting arrested when it's a mental health issue. Those things have changed.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
recently.
There's like drug courts and
Yeah. Well,
deferred
even more than that.
sentences, things
So,
like that.
for example, someone with a mental health issue, diagnosed severe mental health issue, and they have committed a crime based on their mental health issue, we have a hard time charging them. We have a
Culpability.
requirement to actually
Well, that's good.
get them treatment. So
Yeah.
which I love. Colorado
Well,
is
you
great
wouldn't have
that way.
probable cause because one of the elements is culpability.
Exactly. But more importantly, are we going to get them the resources they need?
Yeah.
You know, so.
Exactly.
Hey, I got to go, brothers.
Well, no,
I'm just falling down
failure to
hungry, man.
miscommunicate for the most part.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, it was good to see you guys again. Well, I haven't
I'll
seen
tell you
before,
this.
but it was good to see you again, bro.
I'll tell you this. After the political season is over,
Come on out. I'll let you.
No. The whole thing, though, is that I do this as a permanent political speech against racism and bigotry against homeless people. And that's the story of our last year of our
You should
lives.
go to Denver.
So it will be.
Denver's where the
So
operating
it's
is.
always political. So just so you know, if you try and take me later, nothing changed.
Yeah.
It's
No,
still
I hear
political.
you. I hear you.
And if nothing changed and the law is still on the books, I say you guys probably should just rewrite the law instead of putting out these directives and stuff. Why not rewrite the law?
Because if it's not a problem, then technically, like I said, you'd be wasting like
Yeah.
an hour of your time of paid.
Why is it so important that you? I mean, so
It's our
if you're not-
taxpayer dollars.
Well, hang on.
It's everybody's
hang on.
taxpayer
If-
dollars.
If you don't make a ton of money doing it, so I'm just trying to understand the logic. Is it that you just want to fight the law, or is it because you want to be able to make more money? I don't know.
The fighting of the law has had to be sometimes necessary in order for us to keep those locations open for us so that we can keep getting the money to get on our feet. Because we keep getting moved along to less and less popular.
Hey, I got one last
Yeah, we're
question.
not blindly fighting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that
We
makes
were thrown
sense.
into homeless without our. Wasn't our fault, and so once we saw what the world was doing to homeless people, we completely disagree with it. And so as we get out of homelessness, we can fight alongside it.
Awesome.
All
I know
the
you're
tickets,
unhappy
so.
with me part of this. Have we rectified that disagreement, or are we? In
We
good
have
shape?
enough to work with.
Okay. All right. Is there
I'll
anything
be
else?
contacting your lawyers.
Feel free. Well, feel free. I mean, that's what we have.
Well, yeah. Well, a directive that's scary. That's ad hocing. And
Well,
we've
it's
seen
just
that
to make
before.
sure that it's a little guidance for the officers.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
make
the
sure.
point is that if it's directing them to do something that otherwise they would do,
Yeah.
then that sounds like
You're
we need to
hungry too,
fix
brother. I'm
the.
sorry.
Yeah, it sounds like we would need to fix that statute instead of just because like you can't find that directive. And what if somebody new to the force didn't get that directive or whatever, or didn't check their email?
True enough.
They still see the statute and they don't know that the directive is there. So that's really scary.
Okay, I'm going to let you guys
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Look like you're
Really
ready.
appreciate it, man. Sorry for
Hey,
all the
guys,
trouble.
take care. No,
Thank
I
you.
just want to make sure that the service was adequate. Are you
Yeah.
happy with the service?
Absolutely. You know, actually, to be honest, you are the most due process-y cop. In
That's
terms
what I
of
love to hear, brother.
willing to talk to us to get things
I'm
dealt
going to
with.
have to agree with that.
And I promise I'm not harassing anybody.
No, you're good. Hey, you know where our building is. If you guys need something, come and find me. I'm right over by the fire department on the other side of Safeway.
Absolutely.
Come and knock on the window. We'll chat some more.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, you take care.
Thank you, too.